Welcome, people. Welcome. Hope everyone is well. Hi to everyone there. I'm joined by a very special guest, Cameron from GameBird Classic, who's come to join us today to talk many Nintendo things, a lot of Nintendo stuff, a little bit of Pokemon stuff, and a lot of speculation. How are you, bro? Good to see you.
Doing well, man. Doing well. Excited to be here. Stoked to talk some Nintendo. Always a good time. And thanks so much for having me, man.
Man.
Really appreciate it.
No, not at all, man. I've been telling my audience about you for a while, dude. Like, I came across one of your videos. When was it now? Like a month ago, maybe? A bit longer? And I instantly thought, I thought you were so funny, man. But really engaging, and really enthusiastic. And your videos are honestly really interesting, super high engaging. I always look forward to seeing your videos. So it's been it's really big pleasure to have you here. I don't know, we're gonna have a lot of fun. Everyone out there, just let me know that you can hear us, you can see us, and all that kind of stuff. If you need me to raise Cameron's volume, I can do. I think we've got it all right for now, but let me know if you need it raising up at all. Of course, I'll start. We'll kind of go in what topics we're gonna go on, and we are gonna concentrate on the Switch 2, of course, and give our speculations about what we think is going to launch for the machine, because that's a lot of rumors are coming out about that. I saw some more today, actually, and it's getting me super pumped, even though despite the fact we're probably gonna have to wait whatever it is over a year now for it. And of course there was a Pokemon presentation. I almost forgot there was a Pokemon presentation today until I went on YouTube and I saw everyone else was covering it. Let me just see. Let me see everyone's comments briefly. So Isaac saying hi. Pat Campion sounds great to me. Excellent. Let us know. Make sure everyone sounds good. No one's being drowned out by me or by music in the background or so on. So before I forget, we are giving away also a copy of, what's it called? Penny's Big Breakaway, which is a platformer that's just landed on Switch. Apparently it's meant to be amazing. I had to look at the trailer myself. I'm probably gonna buy it in a few days. But it's made from the team, I think, who worked on Sonic Mania. So it's got good pedigree behind it. But we're going to do that at the end of the show. Cameron and I are going to hopefully engage in a Mario Kart race off at the end. I'm going to try and do this every time I have a podcast and build a leaderboard of all my fellow guests. And, maybe do it for a 10-week run and give away a prize at the end of that. I think we'll start really briefly. I think, Cameron, you're kind of like me, that you're just... what would you say, casually into Pokemon, not like a big fan, but just a little bit into it, which is kind of the same as me. I never really go out my way to get hyped about Pokemon. Every so often I try and jump in, and it just doesn't grab me, which kind of upsets me. But I did watch today's presentation. Did you watch it yourself?
I did, yeah.
What did you make of it, bro?
I mean, it was kind of what I expected, but also a little bit more than what I expected.
Yeah.
I thought we'd be getting mostly mobile stuff, which is what we got in the presentation. I didn't think we were going to get a Legends announcement, so that's what I mean by a little bit more than what I expected.
Yep.
I thought we would more likely get a reveal of a new Let's Go or remake along the lines of what we saw with Diamond and Pearl remake. So Legends was a nice little surprise. I expected something like that post Switch 2 reveal, but here it is. Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this one is cool. I like the presentation of this. I feel like a game like this makes so much sense on mobile devices that I'm surprised that it took till now to get a Pokemon trading card game on mobile phone. I get why they did Go first. I think Go is a really cool concept. Obviously did really well. But I would have thought the next step was the Pokemon trading card game. I'm glad to see it here. I'll probably check it out, but I don't really play too many mobile games. And even kind of my nostalgic excitement for Pokemon Go didn't keep me around for too long, to be honest.
Yeah, no. Oh, was it fixed? Okay, so I was saying our voices cut off when we cut off to that other screen, so that's a bit worrying. Hold on, I'm just gonna cut to it now.
All over the world have enjoyed since they debuted in 1996, but in a new digital format. The Pokemon Company is developing this game as a three-party collaboration with Creatures Inc., the creators of the Pokemon trading card game, and DNA, our partners in the development of Pokemon Masters EX.
Right, so you guys were saying when we go over there, like, you can't hear it, so I'll stay on this screen for a while. So, yeah, so, okay, so let me just get rid of that. Yeah, as for Pokemon, yeah, that's I know a lot of people saying a lot of things blew up online after the presentation, speculating that it's basically. Did you see that there's going to be the first game, well, not the first game, but they reckon it's going to be a launch title for the Switch 2 because it kind of got fixed at the end. The reason people said that was because there was no Switch logo at the end of the presentation for the Pokemon game. But
yeah, I mean, it fooled me. I'm so used to the snap sound with the Switch logo clicking before every trailer. Yeah,
but then, like, I saw something afterwards though that basically they showed that they did have like the little Switch logo. But then what they said was what tripped people up as well, because they said something like coming to all Switch systems. So now people went, oh. All Nintendo systems or something like that. So people thought, oh, does it mean like a Switch 2? Or does it just mean for the fact that there are multiple Switch, there's a Switch Lite and a Switch OLED? Does it mean that? Like, other than that, they didn't really show anything. It was kind of like a CG trailer. It looks like the Pokemon and the human beings kind of mix more in this. It's like some kind of, I don't know, would you call it like a city world? But they didn't really show any gameplay. Well, they didn't show any gameplay. So, like, I don't know. Like,
it was just a basic teaser. I imagine we'll actually see the game at the next big direct or post-Switch reveal. But yeah, no, it was interesting. It's weird. I gotta say, I'm a casual Pokemon fan. Yeah. I do love Pokemon. I play all of them. I buy them all. I play them all. As far as like the main line, I've all the remakes, all the new entries, the Let's Go, even Pokemon Snap. I love Pokemon Snap. That's one of my favorites, oddly enough, even though it's more of a spin-off game. Legends has probably been my favorite modern iteration of Pokemon. So if I could get a new announcement, this was kind of the one for me. With that being said, I'm not hardcore. I don't max out the Pokedex. I don't, stick around post-story and do all the extreme raid battles and all that stuff. I like to just buy a new Pokemon, play through the story, and then move on and get excited about the next one. But no, this is a good one for me. I'm excited to see more. It'll be interesting with Switch 2 on the horizon. Pokemon Company has a history of launching on the previous gen even after a new console comes out and not doing the dual release.
Yeah.
But I feel like with the Legends game, and how it's more open world, it kind of pushes the Switch a little bit harder, that they'd want to kind of, especially with all the negativity surrounding recent Pokemon releases, they'd want to put this game on a console that's a little bit more capable, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I have to say, like, I'm not that, I know I can see we're having like some technical difficulties because I think every so often you're kind of crashing a little bit, but I'm not really sure. I think Discord acting really funky. We'll see. I'll keep an eye on it.
The audio's cutting up. I'm not sure if you could hear me clearly, but you're cutting up a bit.
Am I cutting up there, guys, or is it Cameron? Yeah, I can hear it myself now, but I'm not sure why. What exactly is going on? Let me know, guys, if the sound is all right where you guys are.
It sounds like, if you can hear me, it sounds like artificial intelligence learning speech for the first time.
I'll see what people. And to see what. Oh no, I can see. So my mic seems all right there, so that's fine. So it should be. Is it you or me? Cameron, sorry. Yeah, I don't think you can hear me. It sounds okay. So it sounds okay to them, but for some reason, our sounds funky. So the audience is saying their sounds all right. Can you still hear me, Cameron?
What's that?
Can you still hear me? So basically, yeah, they say our end. Yeah, okay, fine, your end. So yeah, they're saying we sound okay to them, but between you and me, it's not sounding great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect and then I'm going to call you back and add you back in. Give me a sec. Right, so you guys should still see me now, and we'll talk in the meantime. Give me a sec. Right, let's call him back. All right, give me a sec. Right, so we're just calling him back and see how it sounds. Hey, Jimmy, how's it going, Jimmy? Hope you're well, bro. I haven't seen you in a minute. What you been up to, dude? We're just trying to get Cameron back. Let's see if we can see if he answers. But I'll talk about it anyways in the meantime. So, like, basically, yeah, that's what was going on anyways. They announced that give me the stare. Hold on. Yeah, so they basically that happened and people went a bit crazy with it. Great. Ninja, we dance close. Helldivers 2. Oh, it's Helldivers 2. Good, by the way. Hold on, let's see if... I think Cameron might be back. Right, I'm trying to... He's not picking up. Maybe it is his end. I'm not sure. Okay, hold on. Trying to join. Alright, let me know if you can hear me, Cameron, when you're there. You can see it's like... His little thingy bobby there. Right, I have to wait and see if I can get him back. Okay, we'll see. Anyway, we'll just carry on talking in the meantime. So basically, that's, I wanted to delve in that a little bit before we jump into the other speculation, which was going to be what we think is going to appear on the Switch 2 in the launch window, which now, as you all know, it seems like it is going to be March or beyond. There's lots of reasons basically telling us why they're going to release in March, as opposed to when people thought it was going to be... I think people thought it was going to be in the summer. Not me, myself. 1 second, I think camera's trying to get in. Right, is he there? I still can't see him. Oh, he's typing. Oh, I see what he says. He is typing. Right. So, yeah. So I said to Cameron, basically, we were going to talk about what we thought was going to come out. What was going to be, effectively, what was going to be the games coming out. And so, basically, there's been a lot of rumors. There's been a leaker online by the name of Daniel Ahmed. I'll see if I can get his stream here. His what's it called? His Twitter. But he tweeted out earlier, basically talking about conspiracy theories and saying that he thinks that maybe Nintendo. First of all, he thinks the Switch 2 might launch with Donkey Kong, and the reason he thinks that is because he thinks they might have delayed the Switch 2 to get more software. But specifically, the software he was talking about was Donkey Kong, a new Donkey Kong Country game. Oh, I can see Cameron. Hey! But can you see? I think he's still stuck. I don't think he can see me. Right, he's just working on it. No problem. Let me just tell him no problem.
I'm not sure if you can hear me.
I can hear you. I can hear you, bro.
Or hear you.
I can hear you.
Sorry.
No, that's right. Can you hear me? 1 second. I'm just typing to him. He can't hear me for some reason. That's weird. Can you guys hear him when he's talking? Maybe he just isn't moving. I don't know. Can you hear me now? Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, for a second I did.
You can't hear me now? That's so weird. I don't know what is going on. I'm not sure what's going on. What, you know what I might do? I might even just start the stream over and then basically come off and fix these things. Maybe that's what I'll do. Let me see if what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can pause it. Give me a sec, guys. Give me a sec. Okay, I think we're okay. Yep. There we go.
Okay. Yeah,
Let's go.
So sorry about that.
Let's go. Hopefully, let us know in the chat if that's all right. It should be okay now. It should work now. Okay, editor, his camera's frozen. It was. No, just before you went, basically, I was talking about, because we're gonna get into what we think is gonna launch with the Switch, and so I started off by saying that there was a leaker today who basically, I thought it's Daniel Ahmed, and he's a leaker, he's got loads of information, and he basically was saying that he thinks they're gonna, well, the story is that Nintendo's delayed the Switch 2 until what was it, until next year, until 2025, supposedly to make sure they've got enough software. That's what they're saying. And so what Daniel Ahmed was saying, I've got his tweet somewhere, I'm gonna try and bring it over actually while I'm talking to you. What he was saying was that he thinks it's not only that, but the fact that he thinks Nintendo is trying to line it up with a new movie, so be that Donkey Kong movie, and so like a Donkey Kong animation. And so I didn't kind of pay much attention until I kind of sat down to think about it, and I thought, well, actually, they do have like a massive expansion at Universal with the new Donkey Kong ride. They could be working on a Donkey Kong spin-off. You know, he was one of the main characters in the Mario animation. And so, like, you know, I suppose it would be quite a cool thing, quite a big deal for the Switch to release, you know, with, like, you know, Donkey Kong, but having the movie out, having the ride out, like having like a massive marketing push. And then, like, the other thing he said about it, which made a lot of sense to me, was the fact, and this was like a really interesting stat, is that, so like with Sony and Microsoft, you know, 80% of like their software is like third party, and like 20% is first party. Whereas Nintendo is the other way round, right? With Nintendo, it's like 80% first party and 20% third party. So it's like they really do need to make sure that they have as much software kind of to line up the first year at least, you know, to like kind of almost, I always feel like they almost have to go into the mindset of like, you know what, even though whatever system we've just had has sold millions and millions, we're probably still gonna have to convince third parties. So, meaning in the first year, we're probably gonna have to have as much software to drive sales to like convince third parties. So I do kind of believe that I can see Nintendo would have for sure delayed it to make sure they've got enough. Like with the Switch, right? They released like 6 or 7 games in the first year. It was insane. They came out like Breath of the Wild, then they had what's it called, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, then they had Splatoon 2, then they had like ARMS, then they had Xenoblade Chronicles 2, then they had Mario Odyssey. Like they like filled it out, like every couple of months they had something big, you know, and they had to. So like I could see that. I'm not sure, I don't know what you think, you know, whether you think it was specifically like a software issue that the reason for them delaying the machine.
Yeah, I mean, I think software makes the most sense for a delay, especially if they have a killer launch title that they really want to use to push Switch 2.
Yeah.
Nintendo saw what an impact having a huge game within the launch and launch year with the Switch. You know, you listed out a bunch of great games, but more specifically, I feel like having that Zelda title as well as having that big Mario was massive. They did not have that with the Wii U. They didn't have that big killer app. The Wii did.
Yeah.
The Wii launched with Twilight Princess. The Wii was really hard. Now, there's a number of other reasons why the Wii did really well. You know, it really reached a casual audience. The motion controls were a neat gimmick that hadn't been done before.
Yeah.
But I think Nintendo knows that their console specifically are going to live and die based on their software. Switch has a killer library of games. They launched with a killer library, and I think they want to emulate that with Switch 2. I think they want at least 2 huge titles within those first 12 months with some goodies sprinkled in between. I'm not sure that they would delay a Switch 2 for Donkey Kong per se, but and that's not to knock Donkey Kong. I love Donkey Kong.
How dare you?
I think a Donkey Kong movie makes so much sense. Its own spin-off movie. Like you said, they're expanding the park. Seth Rogen voiced Donkey Kong, beloved character, really big actor. So it only makes sense to expand that universe with a Donkey Kong movie.
Absolutely.
But I think the two, if I were Nintendo, I'd want to get one of 2 games out within the first year. One of them being a launch game, and that's the new mainline 3D Mario, the successor to Odyssey, whatever they call it, or either an or an and down the road, new Mario Kart. Because when it comes to sales, I said this in my last video, predicting kind of what kind of launch year we could have. Mario Kart is king.
Yeah.
Like it's unstoppable. You know you're gonna move units if you get that out within the first 12 months. And the timing's right for both of those. So I fully believe that this delay is software related.
Okay, so then let's talk about what do you think? Should we talk about the launch date, or let's say launch window, like let's say the first 3 months? What do you think? What do you think they're gonna launch with? I've got I think I've got a game in my mind, but what do you think they're gonna launch with, and what do you think they will follow it up with in the opening 3 months? Let us know in the chat as well what you guys think.
I'm throwing my cards at the next big Mario game. I think like I said, the timing lines up. If it's not going to be a Zelda launch title, which it clearly won't be, we've got like 5.
We have 76 years to wait for that.
Mainline Zelda, and that's not to say we might not get another Zelda within that first year. That's maybe a remaster or some sort of a spin-off or remake. But yeah, I think Mario makes too much sense.
Yeah.
So. Prime Force coming out. A lot of people are very divided. Prime Force, either for a lot of people, is just Switch, or it's cross-gen, or now it's moved on to Switch 2, and it's leaving Switch in the dust.
Yeah.
I think at the very least it's cross-gen, and it's one of those, it's not a system seller. So Mario will sell the systems. Metroid Prime 4 will be that companion piece that kind of pushes the hardware, at least from the visuals.
Like, that's the thing. Do you oh man, see, like, yeah, a lot of people spoke about Mario Kart 9 or whatever it's going to be called as a launch title, and the thing is, like, I do see it from 2 point of view, because that would sell consoles, right? That would sell,
right?
Like, that would, what's it so nice? Didn't it reach like 60 million recently? Like,
it's around 60 million,
right? Which is
insane.
It's stupid numbers. It's stupid numbers. But then it does make me think, 60 million is insane. But there are 140 million Switches sold. like how many people haven't bought Mario Kart yet? But my only issue with that is, I think I said this to Andre for Andre's Restart, is that, like, for me, just personally, but for me, when I buy a new console, like, I always look to, like a Breath of the Wild, like a big, massive game that I want to get stuck into. That's, that you get lost into, that shows off the console, like, and all its capability, shows off the specs, shows off maybe, like, whatever the brand new gimmick is. That kind of thing, right? And it kind of reminds me a little bit, like, I was never really into fighters back in the day, but you might remember this, unless I'm not sure if it's the same in America, but in the UK at least, when the Super Nintendo released, it released with 2 games. you could pick either or bundle, and one bundle was Mario World and the other bundle was with Street Fighter 2. Right, and like I never understood people. I knew a lot of people who bought it with Street Fighter 2, but I never understood that because I thought surely, like, yeah, you'll play it for a while, but then you'll put it down because like, how much can you really play a beat 'em up? You know, like in one go. I mean, you know, whereas like Mario World, like there's just worlds upon worlds upon worlds. You know, it was like a huge game, and I kind of see it with that with Mario Kart. That yeah, like it would sell systems insane, but I almost feel like you have to have like a Metroid. The problem with Metroid. Yeah. And this is why I don't think it will be a launch title, even a cross-gen launch title. It's just,
sure.
I don't know what it is. I feel like Metroid will just never sell. It's like they can do whatever they want and it just does not sell. And I don't get why, but I think they're wary of putting it.
I agree with you. I don't think... No, I think that Prime 4 has the potential to sell better than previous Metroid games. But you're right. No, like for whatever reason, no matter the quality, no matter the critical praise that the Metroid series gets, people don't buy it. But again, I think there is one possibility Metroid could subvert expectations, and that's Nintendo's really taken a lot of liberties with their big games in recent years to innovate and kind of shake up what it means to be a Zelda game or what it means to be a Fire Emblem with like the you know, Fire Emblem added a lot of that persona, more in-depth social aspects. I think the thing that really hurts Metroid as far as a mainstream broad appeal is the lack of being a first-person shooter without, and I'm speaking for Prime, obviously, first-person shooter without the multiplayer, online multiplayer.
Yeah, for sure. That's something people... Do you remember, like, back in the day, during the... I want to say... Well, yeah, during the GameCube 360... Was it 360? No, it was original Xbox and PS2, PS3. But that was a massive thing. That's when, you know, like, Gears of War, Halo, like, Call of Duty came into it as well. Like, everything was online multiplayer. And that's... I was, like you said, you were exactly right. I remember when Metroid came out, Metroid Prime, and he got insane reviews, like 99s, 9s out of 10s, 10 out of 10s. But that's the one thing that everyone pointed at was the fact that it didn't have online multiplayer, you know? And for some reason it was looked down upon because of that. And it wasn't, like, it's a first person, but it's like an exploration first person, you know? It's like, it's hard.
It's not story heavy. So that's like the other thing that, like, shooters, it's the multiplayer or the really deep story. And, you know, like you said, you're very isolated in Prime. It's very limited storytelling. So it's, you know, I could see why it's a tough sell for some people, but man, they're so good.
I'm super excited. I know I read, there was some news that came out on it the other day again, because apparently more or less people saying it's finished, right? Like it's been in testing for a while. But the reason it's been pushed is because the cinematic scenes are not very... Apparently, the quality wasn't that great on them. So they've got basically more work going on in the cinematics. You know, which is like fair enough. But I mean, that game, someone said to me the other day, it's like 5 years since it's been rebooted. It's just like... It's just insane. But like at this point, would you prefer it to be a cross-gen, or would you just prefer to either have it on Switch or just on Switch 2?
I'd prefer to have, at this point, and I know this is probably the answer that would upset the majority of people.
I think you're going to say the same as me.
I'd rather just be a Switch 2.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. I think we're in the minority. Yeah.
Like, I hate to say that because this was a promised Switch game.
Yeah,
and then it got, like, you know, it got canned and then rebooted.
Yeah.
And then it was sorry, we're still making it, but we had to start over because it didn't meet our levels. So it's like, okay, well, this is what's going on, but we're still getting it for Switch. So cool. Yeah. So it would have to be a second apology. We know we said it's coming to Switch. We're so sorry. It's not anymore. So I don't know. It's probably more likely to either be cross-gen or just Switch and not Switch 2.
Yeah.
But I'd rather it be just Switch. Push Metroid to the boundaries, innovate, maybe add some online modes. Those might not necessarily be for me because I'm not a competitive shooter person. But if they could really expand on those worlds that you explore, keep that Metroidvania interconnected, but have some big open zones that are unlike anything we've seen in a Metroid game before. So, you know, it kind of has that, not Elden Ring nature, that's too open world, but more Dark Souls-y, where it's very interconnected Metroidvania, but has some more bigger open spaces where maybe you have some like wild boss fights in
that would
huge
be
open
awesome,
spaces, creature flying over, and I don't know, you know, give it a little bit of a Halo open-endedness, but still really doubling down on that interconnectivity and level design.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day, and I had this wild thought where it hit me like, like I wonder if we end up getting 2 Metroids in 1 year, and not the remakes, you know, Metroid 2, but I started thinking about Mercury Steam, and you know, obviously they released Metroid Dread. Like, how long ago was that now? It was a few years ago now.
A few years now, yeah.
Right? And so like I imagine they're already working on another. I can't imagine after the success of that Nintendo and say, all right, make another one. You know, and I feel like the fact we haven't seen anything from them either means it's obviously something really, really secretive. So it's probably almost certainly another Nintendo IP. So it must be another Metroid game. So that would be awesome, because I didn't realize I was gonna like Metroid Dread as much as I did. That was my game of the year. Like, I loved that game. Like, I went back and played Super Metroid a while after that, and that game I loved as well. But Metroid Dread was just like high caliber. Like, I would for sure let them make another one. Maybe in the future, you know, let them make a 3D one. You know?
Yeah, totally. But Metroid Dread was fantastic, and I love more than most people. I really love Metroid Fusion.
Oh yeah.
And one of my favorite, even though it's a little bit smaller, it's a little bit more linear than the other 2D Metroid games. That feeling of being hunted and being followed by a character going through it was really cool. I loved the, no pun intended, the dread that you felt. So when Metroid Dread got announced, knowing that it had the hunter and the hunted kind of mechanic was super exciting.
Yeah, that was.
And I do feel like. Oh, go ahead.
No. Go.
I was just gonna say, I do feel like by the time you got into the latter half of the game, you didn't really feel the dread like you did in the first half.
Yeah, it's
but
true.
It was still so cool.
It was still there though, man. It's like the sound, man, the way they looked. It was like, what were they called? I couldn't even remember what they were called. Those little robots. I can't remember what their name was now.
I forget.
Someone in the chat, let us know what the stalkery robot in Metroid Dread was called. I cannot remember, but that, like, you're right. Only right near the end was I less, like, you know, anxious, but like still, like, the worst thing is when you were getting chased by them and you weren't getting caught, but you were going like in a loop and you ended up going back into the same spot again and like just trying to find somewhere to escape and just going on the same loop and just having it chase you like a dog around the same map. But
like, I love that you pointed that out. It's always the loop where you realize you're back where you started, and you're like, no.
Yes.
Oh no.
And you know, you know when you jump back on yourself and you like to jump over its head and then go the other way.
Totally.
Someone, is it Pat? Welcome, Pat Campion in the chat. He says Emmy. That is right. That's what they were called. Emmy.
Yes, thank you.
That's it. They were awesome design. The only thing, just quickly, just to stay on Metroid Dread, that I found a slight letdown was that the music, it wasn't bad, it just wasn't as memorable as like Prime, you know, Metroid Prime. Those were like super memorable. With this, it was fine, it was serviceable, it didn't quite hit the same. So, all right, so like at the moment, so we got a new Mario game. I agree with you. I think absolutely they're going to release with a Mario game day one. That team, incidentally, has worked on. They haven't released anything since Odyssey in 2017. You know, they've literally released nothing.
Been a long time, and I have to imagine, again, going back to Nintendo being willing to really break away from kind of the staples or traditions, that they're kind of going to give it that Breath of the Wild treatment where they really open up the world. And I can envision a next-gen Mario game. You're in the Mushroom Kingdom, you're at Peach's castle, and looking out you could see the different kingdoms in the background. And, you know, there's, you know, pipelines that, you know, are your kind of like teleporters, and they connect to different parts of this massive world map. Secrets, bring back secrets. Secrets was a thing that, it's one of the reasons why to this day Super Mario World is one of my, or is probably still my favorite Mario game,
I agree.
to be honest.
Yeah, I think it is.
I miss secrets. I miss all the secret levels, the secret items, all that crap. I want to see that sprinkled and hidden throughout open world. Give me the challenges too, like Mario Sunshine, where you have to do those platforming challenges, kind of like shrines.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
No,
a lot of potential.
I agree, man. Like, I was kind of disappointed. I got some hate with this, but I was kind of disappointed with Odyssey. Like, in the end, like, there's parts I love. Like, you know, like Nintendo always sprinkles these amazing ideas. Like, when you turn into like, you know, the flat Mario running along the walls, you know, like painted Mario, or that whole New Donk City musical part, or, you know, just all the things like turning into Bullet Bill Mario. You know, those things are amazing, but. Like, there was too many puzzles. I thought the worlds were just too small. They were too confined. And I get that was a design choice. You know, they kind of wanted this seemingly small area that would kind of just always unravel like an onion and kind of show you more and more. But for me, it just didn't feel like, I suppose, like Mario 64, I guess, or even Galaxy. Just, I wanted that kind of, you know, that breath to kind of run around where I go and, you know, it be a lot bigger. And yeah, I don't know. And the boss fights, I wasn't crazy about. But it had some amazing things in there, though. Like, some of the ideas in that game, like we're looking at some of the footage now here, and it's just like the amount of things you can turn into. Although, I said it first, they did that in Banjo-Kazooie like 25 years ago. I'm just saying, it wasn't like 20, 30, 50 things, but it was a good handful of things you can turn into in Banjo-Kazooie. I'm just going to put it out there first. Rare did it first. That's it.
I gotta make maybe a controversial statement really quick.
Here we go.
So Banjo-Kazooie, in my opinion, blows Mario 64 out of the water. Banjo-Kazooie is one of my favorite 3D, if not my favorite 3D platformer of all time. So
100%.
Sorry.
No,
Mario 64
I agree. Let us know in the chat.
There's no Banjo-Kazooie.
No, I said this.
I
said this back in the. I wanted one day to do a video on this. I've always wanted to do a video, basically going back to the N64 and going over like Rare and Nintendo's catalog on the N64, kind of their time then, because I think Rare they outdid Nintendo. Like they did. Like Banjo-Kazooie just walked all over. Pack. Don't do that. Don't unsub. Pack. He does not agree with us unsubbing. No, I think my brother. I don't know if my brother's still there, Juan. I think he disagrees. I think he thinks Mario 64 is a lot better. But I was instantly.
That's madness.
No, I instantly was Banjo-Kazooie. Like graphically. Like, I'm not a graphics whore, but graphically, it was such a step up. It was insane. The boss fights were so good. The water levels were better. All the things you can turn into, the musical score, like the humor. Oh, dude, man.
Really, Grant Kirkhope, who did the music for Banjo,
legend.
As well as many other great games. My favorite music composer for video games of all time. He kind of reminds me of, I don't know if everyone will know this reference watching, but he reminds me of like the Danny Elfman of video games.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
He's got a weird, quirky personality that shows through his music. But they do a really cool thing, not to get stuck on Banjo for too long, but we could do a whole episode about Banjo.
We definitely can.
How much I love it. They do this really cool thing with the music. In the first game, Gruntilda's Lair kind of serves as what's Peach's Castle in Mario 64.
Yeah.
But there's a theme song. It's Gruntilda's theme song.
Yeah.
But every time you approach a new section of Gruntilda's Lair, the music, it's the same song, but all the instruments change to match the theme of that world. So it's a haunted version of it or a beachy version of it. It's so cool. In that game, like, the level design and the immersion and the writing, the game's hilarious and breaks the fourth wall, self-aware. That game was so ahead of its time.
That's pure Rare. They did it with every game. But you're right, Kirkhope, when you said that, and you when you called him the Danny Elfman of composers, I instantly thought of, I don't know if you've played Mario plus Rabbids, but he did like some of the scores in there. Oh, it's amazing. His scores are amazing in that game. Another controversy, I actually preferred Mario plus Rabbids to Mario Odyssey. I don't care. Come for me. I don't care. I've said it. I'm doing a video now. I'm about to publish it tomorrow. I've got a video of my top 25 Switch games. And I'm just saying it's above it in my list. I'm just, don't get mad, people, but it is. But Yeah, no,
full disclosure, I love Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite 3D Mario.
Yeah.
I like Galaxy more, quite a bit more actually. And you know, some of the older Marios, especially World. I think World is like perfect S tier Mario. Full disclosure, I do love Mario Odyssey. I have some grievances with it, but ATB, you should totally make a video that just says Mario Odyssey sucks. Here's why, and you should do that. Dude.
Banned from Facebook forever. Facebook from YouTube forever. That's it. I'm going to log into my PC tomorrow and it just won't even go on. Like no. Yeah, no, like it's bad. Well, like where? Just we won't get sidetracked too much, but where do you stand on the new type of Zeldas compared to the old Zeldas?
Woo! Okay, that's a conversation.
Someone says, "Oh, quick, just briefly, hot Gamer Boy Summer, Galaxy is top tier." Yep, I would put Galaxy. I always used to say it was my favorite, but I just put Mario World just above it. But then Galaxy second for me. But yeah, sorry, Cameron. I was saying. Yeah, because there's a lot of talk, and I just quickly say I really miss the old Zelda games, to be honest. Like, I'm a bit conflicted about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. It's me.
Yeah, I think there's good and bad, and I think even if you're kind of bummed out with the direction that Zelda has gone with the last two entries,
yeah,
I still think there's reason to feel optimistic about Zelda's future. And it's full disclosure for the audience, it's my favorite series of all time.
Yeah, same.
It's one of the reasons why I wanted to start doing Nintendo YouTube, because I wanted the opportunity to talk about this series that I love. My very first video game ever, I was given a hand-me-down NES with the gold cartridge.
Oh, nice.
Of The Legend of Zelda. That was the start of my video game journey. So I have so much love for this series. But, you know, when Breath of the Wild came out, and I'll try and not make this too long-winded because
no, go for it.
So many thoughts going through my head right now. When Breath of the Wild came out, I was on the hype train, and I loved every second of it until I finished it, and I reflected on the experience and reflected on the game more, and I was able to take off my rose-tinted glasses and see kind of the issues that were there for me, at least.
Yeah.
You know, as far as like 3D Zelda goes, Breath of the Wild, and I hope I don't trigger people because I'm going to say a lot of great things about it too.
I feel we could probably agree on a lot of stuff.
Breath of the Wild, worst villain of, like, Calamity Ganon is the worst villain in a modern Zelda game.
100%.
There's no personality, doesn't interact with you, it doesn't antagonize you through the story, it has no interesting motives, it's just, it could have been a hurricane.
Yeah.
We have to stop the hurricane from hitting Hyrule. It wouldn't have made any difference. The breaking weapons, while I understood in the beginning with the survival aspect, it got really old, and it turned the game into, like, tons of inventory management, which, you know, was, for me at least, was not that fun. I found myself hoarding all my best weapons because I didn't want them to break and only using my crappy weapons, which made the experience more difficult for me. Story was, I didn't like the execution of the story. It was not super interesting. The memory system, you experiencing it in a different order by how you find it, it just wasn't very engaging, and I didn't feel like I cared about the world or the characters. Now, with that being said, I'm not going to crap all over Breath of the Wild because I do think there is a lot of brilliance in that game. Yeah. And that world, that sense of freedom and exploration in an open world was so far ahead of anything that came out before, in my opinion. Yeah. The way that Nintendo was able to capture really, how do I say, that giving you that sense of discovery and choice and how I experience this world, and sharing, like, my experiences with friends who are playing and radically different. So I feel like it was blueprints, it was a proof of concept that worked really well for them, and I think Tears of the Kingdom did it way better personally, but still not perfect. There are staples of the Zelda series that are so phenomenal the traditional dungeons / temples with the mini bosses and the main bosses are one of the core reasons why I love the Zelda series so much. And that being absent, the divine beasts were not very good. Let's be honest.
Oh no. Yeah.
There's 120 shrines, I think. And I'm sorry, I'm ranting right now, but I'll wrap it up. I'm sorry to go on for so long.
No, don't apologize. No, I agree with everything you're saying.
Yeah. And I've got a lot nicer things to say about Tears of the Kingdom. And again, full disclosure, I do really like Breath of the Wild. I'm not hating on it.
Yeah.
But I think it's important as a Zelda fan to express some of the things that I didn't like about it in hopes that what comes next is even better. Yeah. And I think there's way more good than bad with Breath of the Wild. But traditional dungeons, the bosses and mini bosses, the more focused storyline, some of the classic items are staples that I've come to know and love. And I don't think that you have to throw away all the staples that made a series really great to begin with to innovate. And there's 120 shrines roughly, give or take.
Yeah, 120.
My memory, okay, 120.
Yeah.
They could have put 60 shrines in there, and then instead of 4 like not very inspired divine beasts, done maybe 6 or 7 really well thought out dungeons.
Yeah.
Like they could have used that development time to do that, and I think they got a lot closer to that with Tears of the Kingdom, but it was like one step in the right direction, but not fully committed. Yeah. And I will say the Wind Temple and Tears of the Kingdom, that boss fight was epic. The music's blasting.
That's when you're falling down. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, this is what I want from boss fights in a Zelda game, and I recaptured some of that magic. But I don't think that Nintendo obviously heard a lot of the fans' cries with bringing some of those staples back, because they definitely inched many steps towards it in Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, for sure,
and I think they could get closer. I think there is a formula for a better hybrid blend of what made Zelda great in the past and what makes it great today. Yeah. And lastly, I want to add, I've been just rambling.
No. It's good.
I have really high hopes for the Zelda series going forward, because Nintendo realized that the Zelda formula for a lot of people, at least when it came to sales and the mainstream, was getting a little bit tired and stale. And I don't think they want to let Zelda get there again. So I expect Nintendo to really want to innovate again and not have it feel like, oh, this is just like, it's not a direct sequel to Tears of the Kingdom, but this is another Tears of the Kingdom Breath of the Wild. I think they're going to want to go in, okay, how do we make something new again? How do we do something fresh? Yeah. And maybe dungeons, maybe a deeper storyline, some of that, maybe classic items coming back is part of making it feel fresh with some new ideas. But yeah, sorry.
No. This is the thing, now you get me started as well. No, because I don't know if you know, you probably do know, he's a massive YouTuber, Zeltic, who does like, Zelda,
absolutely.
Of course, right? He did a video recently which is just titled, and it summarized exactly how I feel about both Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, where he was talking specifically about Tears of the Kingdom, and he called it a disappointing masterpiece. Disappointing masterpiece is what he called it. I thought, oh, that's exactly how I would describe it, because there's I'll talk about just briefly Breath of the Wild. There's things in that game that they do better than anything I've ever seen. Like the way you can manipulate any object and use it to, complete puzzles, and the way, if you go on YouTube, the way anyone's completed the same puzzle 100 different ways, it's insane.
Yeah. The game shouldn't work. It
shouldn't work. It should be, people should be breaking it all over the place, but no, it just does not break. That is just like game design insane. And I can't remember, it was my brother who told me this, but it is the truest thing, where it's like I must have spoken to about 10 friends when they bought that game about their experience, after a few days. And I realized talking to them that everyone had gone to the same, despite the fact the world is huge and you can go anywhere, everyone I spoke to ended up going the same way. I thought, that's really weird. I wonder why that is. And then I realized, Nintendo do this thing where it's like, you think you're kind of like in charge of your own destiny. You think you're deciding where to go in that game, but actually they're guiding you without you even knowing it. So they will put things in certain, like the little shrine entrance, they'll put it up on a hill somewhere so you can just spot it. So you say, oh, what's that? I'll go up there. And then they make sure that when you go up there, there's something interesting in your view from the top of the hill. You know, you'll see like a tree that's surrounded by something, whatever. You think, well, I might go over there next, you know. And so you think you're making all these choices in this massive open world, but they're kind of guiding you.
Manipulated the whole time.
It's insane. It's unbelievable, like game design. But like you said, the things that let me down on it are like the story and the dungeons and the bosses. You know, like I've been playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2 recently, and like replaying it. And I remember at the time stopping playing Breath of the Wild for a while, and because I got so into Xenoblade Chronicles 2, because that had the gameplay itself wasn't, let's say, maybe better than Breath of the Wild, but it had the things that I was wanting in Breath of the Wild. So it had amazing story, and like the way it integrates the story with an open world is so seamless. I think, God, if only Nintendo had done that like this. And so that, I think they could have probably got a few things off each other, but for sure, I think you're right. I think Nintendo doesn't know how to jump into a sequel or a new game in the series without innovating in some way. Like they just don't know how to. That's their thing.
Absolutely. And we should plan a full discussion around this topic.
Oh man, we so should. I could talk about that and like the comparison between the new Zelda and the old. Like I do just want a new Twilight Princess, like a game in that vein. That's what I want. That kind of moodier, that you know, those massive dungeons where the weapons that you pick up are relying on you completing the puzzles in those dungeons, and that, you know, and like bigger than life, you know, like boss fights, like in Twilight Princess, those boss fights, those dungeons are just incredible. You know, Menace, welcome, Menace. I just saw your message. Welcome to the chat. If you have any questions, we're talking about Switch 2 and the lineup and what was it, the impossible port and all this kind of stuff. We kind of I did want to ask you something else actually though about Switch 2, which was the gimmick, which I briefly mentioned in my last podcast. We didn't really. But we need to like talk about what we think, because I know they're not just going to release a Switch with higher specs. There's no way that's what they're doing. But in terms of like, what are we saying in terms of launch titles? So what are we saying there? You're saying a Mario for sure day one, possibly a Metroid in the first 3 months, possibly a Mario Kart in the first 3 months. I did see that today there was rumors also. Well, not even. Well,
not the first.
No, go
Sorry,
on.
Mario Kart in the first 6 to 12 months.
The first 6 to 12 months.
3 months, yeah.
Well, there was I forgot the leaker's name, but there was a leaker who was like he's very well known for accurately leaking a lot of Sega-based news, and he was talking about apparently Sega's got a massive, well, I suppose, ton of support for the Switch 2 around launch. So I think it's probably to do with that. Do you remember they did that showpiece and they were showing all those old games that they were going to remake? So like, my God, I can't remember what are they even called now. There was like Crazy Taxi.
Taxi.
Do you remember?
Yeah. New entries. They're doing. I believe it's all new entries in those old franchises.
Oh, you're right. Sorry, yeah, you're right. And what's the free play? Do you remember the free play side scroller that they've got? I used to love that game with. Which one?
Golden Axe.
Golden Axe, yes. Yeah. Golden Axe, yes. I think that is that a remake or is that a brand new one as well they're making?
I believe, if I remember correctly, the trailer, because that was at the Game Awards, right?
Yeah.
Was that at the Game Awards?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
I believe it says that they have new entries in beloved Sega franchises.
Yeah.
In development. So I think they're all new. Like what they probably are is, instead of remakes, they're probably reboots.
Yeah.
That's probably what it's gonna be.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. I would like that actually. Like I used to love Crazy Taxi back in there. I used to love Jet Set Radio as well. There's if anyone loves Jet Set Radio, there's a similar-ish game. Oh my God, on Switch at the moment. What's it called?
Bomb Rush, Cyberpunk.
That's it. That game. I still haven't bought it. I keep getting told by everyone to buy it, and I keep looking at the trailer, and it looks incredible. In fact, I'm gonna find the trailer for it now, briefly, so people can see. Because I don't know if it's on sale at the moment. What's it called? Cyberpunk? Is it Bomb Rush?
Cyberfunk.
Cyberfunk.
Like funky music. Yeah, Cyberfunk Bomb Rush. Fantastic. However, I will say, if you don't have nostalgia for Jet Set Radio or Jet Grind Radio or the Dreamcast, maybe it's not as exciting of a game for you. It definitely has that Dreamcast era
for sure
to its gameplay.
For sure.
But for me, I eat that up. So
here we go. We can see it now on the screen. It's like, oh, I saw this. I was like, I need to play. The trailer looks amazing. I was waiting for it to go on sale, but the people who've told me about it, who've got it, love it. They like really love it. I just saw Templo Celdero. Hello, Templo. One of my Spanish-speaking amigos. ¿Qué tal, hombre? ¿Cómo estás?
All right.
Check him out, little dude. There he is. Mr. Templo, he's a good friend of ours as well. I know. Well, Templo. Funny enough, we're speaking of Zelda, and he comes into that chat. He loves Zelda, but I think he loves. I know he loves Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild equally. I think. I don't think he's fussed either way. Let me just get the chat back on.
Yeah. I want to say real quick too, because I feel like I didn't say enough good things about the news.
You thought you were, they coming for you.
Coming for me. I have videos praising both those games on my channel, guys. So, and I think they're both 10 out of 10s. I really do. I just, again, more so towards Breath of the Wild, because Tears of the Kingdom I think is a very special game for so many reasons. And did so many things right. But
yeah,
I do miss the music from.
Oh, that's the other thing as well. I don't know if you guys can hear in the background. I'll raise it. I've got some funky version of the best Zelda song of all time, Gerudo Valley, in the back. I'll raise it a little bit so you guys can hear it. It's like a flamenco version of it. It's so good. Oh my god, yeah, I miss the music so bad. Templo, quickly. What was I was going to ask you something about Zelda? What was I going to ask? Templo, ¿cuál es tu Zelda favorito? Ask him which one's his favorite Zelda. Like he streams on his channel like a lot, bless him. Okay, well, yeah, so I think like I'm happy with that selection. Like I imagine, what do you think for third party games? Do you think there's going to be, because I tell you why, we're going to get into the topic of the next wave of miracle ports. Because I was thinking, incidentally, on the Switch, there's been nothing from Panic Button. You know, Panic Button, they used to release, you know, they made obviously the Doom Eternal, the Wolfenstein games. They worked on a bunch of other stuff as well. They were like the guys known as like, you know, the wizards of the impossible ports. And in the last couple of years, they've released nothing. And there is a couple of like biggish, I suppose, big ports that are coming over to Switch, namely Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is very Witcher 3 like, but that's being done by Saber Interactive, who did, I think they also did the port for Dying Light, which is incidentally my favorite game on Switch. I kind of think after because I would consider Kingdom Come Deliverance a miracle port, but after that, I don't think we have any on the horizon on the Switch left. So it kind of makes me think they must be, you know, basically getting the next wave of miracle ports over on the Switch too. So going into that, what do you have any? Well, first of all, do you have a favorite miracle port on Switch? And do you have any thoughts for what you think might be the next wave coming out on Switch 2?
Oh boy. So I just want to be clear. When you say miracle ports, do you think are you asking me which ones I would like to see, or which ones I think we will see, and like miracle as in it might be impossible?
Both. Yeah.
Both. Okay. Here's one I would like to see. It might be impossible. We don't yet know kind of where Switch 2
That's the thing.
lands.
It's difficult because we don't know the specs.
We don't know the specs. So some people are saying it's roughly around PS4.
Yeah.
But with all the bells and whistles of DLSS and ray tracing and AI boosting, which is really cool. So if that stuff can and not to knock not knocking the PS4. If we get a hybrid console that's as powerful as the PS4,
that's amazing.
That console had God of War, Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima is still one of the prettiest games today, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I think that's good news. But I would love to see, and this was a game that was on the PS4 and ran like crap. It's since been fixed, but it's definitely, in my opinion, a possible miracle port, but one that would be so sick on Switch 2, and that's Cyberpunk 2044.
That's one of the ones I was going to mention. Yeah. That to me, that's like the glaring one, right? That is like how well, like you said, I just didn't. I think, did I have it on PS4, PS5? I can't remember, but it ran terrible, like for sure. I think it was PS4 at the time. When I got it, and it was bad. Like, it was glitchy as hell as well. And it just compared to a PC, it just didn't. Even on PS5, it didn't look great. But that is, again, it's like super taxing. That's hold on, let me get the trailer for it now. That's well, it took like how long? Man, it took like a year worth of updates to make it even run and look well on PS5 or Xbox. Didn't they even? Weren't they gonna pull the versions off of the PS4? Or did it even come out on PS4? Do you remember? I think there was like a lot of talk of actually we don't know if we can release this on those consoles.
They released it on PlayStation 4, and that was a lot of the memes around that game started from that version. Because I don't know if you saw the memes where people are showing their gameplay and it looked like PS1 because it was all sorts of glitched out. Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, there you go. Put it there. Yeah, no, yeah. I remember that. I've heard since it's gotten better, anyways. Supposedly.
Yes. Yeah.
Like it's got a lot better.
I mean, the expansion got like 10 out of 10 and was nominated. So
it's funny because like I played. Oh, man, I didn't play loads. If I had to say how many hours I put into it, I'd probably only put in, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 hours, something like that. But it still didn't grab me. Like to say, like it's from the same developers as The Witcher 3, you know, that
which is phenomenal.
Which is like really awesome. I still haven't finished it. I'm disgusted myself. I've played about 75 hours and still not finished it. But like it just didn't hit me. I didn't really enjoy the combat. I liked the world. I could take or leave the world, but I didn't mind the world. But the voice acting I thought was bad. I say that most people are really good, but Keanu Reeves of all people I thought was so bad. Like it literally
it was rough,
dude. He's clearly not there. He's clearly just phoning it in from his house somewhere. Like he has no idea what kind of a game it is. I don't know what happened with his voiceover work, but it was terrible. But yeah, this is one of the ones I had on my list. Another one, I'll get the trailer up in a second and see what you think, but another one I had, I think is quite an obvious one. It for sure, almost certainly, is going to be an Impossible Miracle port. And it's one, like, because Cyberpunk, I can kind of see that they might be willing enough to, like, get, maybe not themselves, but, let me just, go to the, maybe get Saber Interactive or someone to do it, maybe. I can imagine that. But the next one I thought of is GTA 6. That is one that I think...
That's an impossible port, yeah.
Right? That for sure isn't going to be out on PS4, I don't think. We don't know too much about it. I think I've got the trailer here somewhere. I know it's meant to be humongous. There's been lots of like rumors about what kind of specs your PC will need, how big the map is going to be. All this kind of stuff. Let me just get it out there. But the other thing is as well with them. Let me just get it out there. I think this is it here. The thing is that we didn't even get GTA 5 on the Switch. Which
right.
There we go. So we got it there. So that to me says everything. And I think this is more broadly, it's going to be some of the issues that Nintendo's going to face maybe on the Switch too that they had on the Switch, which is that. Even if third parties can port certain games, I still think they have that stigma of thinking we don't think certain game is going to sell on a Nintendo platform. Because I don't understand why GTA 5 didn't come to Switch. That was such a missed opportunity. It ran on PS3 originally. They could have just given us the PS3 version. I would have been more than happy with that. I would have been amazed with that. I would have been so happy. But they didn't, and they did. And it's not like they didn't release anything on Switch. They released a bunch of different games. They released what's it called, all the 2K basketball games, the oh my god, the BioShock games.
You make a great point because we got LA Noire.
We got LA Noire,
which I actually really like. LA Noire. I think that's a really cool take on the sandbox open world with the crime solving and interrogating.
Yeah,
really cool concept. But LA Noire is very niche. Like, no one's expecting LA Noire to sell gangbusters on the Switch, but something with as wide of appeal as Grand Theft Auto, I'd imagine it would do relatively well.
Yeah. Like I still think, because I remember, I think it was EA who, EA's relationship with Nintendo is super bad anyways, even at the best of times. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure it was then that just flat out said, Nintendo players or Nintendo Switch owners buy Nintendo machines for Nintendo games. They're not interested in third-party games. And it's like, we spoke about this on the last podcast, and it's a topic I'm super passionate about because it does bug the hell out of me, because it's like you're like in a no-win situation. Yeah, right. Like for EA, for example, we'll release a FIFA game. not always on day and date, but they'll release it with missing features, downgraded, ridiculously, maybe even released later, and then complain about the fact that Nintendo players don't want to buy, a copy of a game that's completely downgraded, missing features, which is the biggest thing, and for the same price. In some cases, thanks to the so-called Switch tax, even more expensive than the PS4 versions at the time. So it's like you can't really win. It's like Doom Eternal, that came out I think it was 9-10 months after it originally came out, and I don't know what that sold. I don't think it sold great. I think the first Doom did, but it's like, well, if you release games that late on the Switch, the hype's kind of gone. They're probably not going to sell. But I would be intrigued if someone would have, like, the guts, I suppose the guts to release a game like GTA 6 or something as big, like, I don't know, the next Assassin's Creed or the next Call of Duty, which we know is coming to the Switch, but release it day and date with the same features, parity across the board, and see how it does. That's for me, like, the worry. But at the same time, I know my brother disagrees with me. I do think it's kind of on Nintendo a little bit, like, and this is the thing, because I don't think Nintendo really care, but from my point of view, I feel like Nintendo has to do something to push third parties to the forefront a bit more. I don't know what they have to. I don't know whether they have to take a bulk of the advertising, or whether they just have to put more of a spotlight on third parties, or make deals with third parties to get, I don't know, DLC that the other systems don't have, or something like that. Because there's definitely, like, Nintendo's come a long way since the N64 complete lack of third party. Like, the Switch, we actually got, like we were talking about, we got Witcher 3, we got Doom Eternal, Wolfenstein, we got Alien Isolation, we got Dying Light, we got, like, loads of, like, third party games that came over, and it hasn't been like that for a long time. So I think Nintendo can use this now, so like a step up, to bring it home even more. But yeah, I don't know what you think about their relationship with third parties, Cameron.
I mean, I think that I think you make a lot of really good points. I do think that Switch's tech plays a hand in this.
Yeah.
And I imagine to get some of these games to run, obviously takes additional development time. So yes, maybe Nintendo can step in to help alleviate some of the costs to get those games on their consoles. But I think by the sounds a lot of these reports, Switch 2 is going to be brought up at least closer.
Yeah.
And if it's using the DLSS, if it's using different and newer tech, to even if it's less expensive hardware, but able to emulate near what the current thing is doing, I think that's going to take away a lot of those concerns, or the apologies that are often packaged with third-party games, like Harry Potter. You know,
oh my god, yeah, Hogwarts, yeah, another one. Yeah,
Hogwarts Legacy. It's cool that it's on there, but bad performance, the visuals, when you play that game, it looks like the screen has Vaseline smeared all over it, You know what I mean? Yeah. So, like, a lot of the games, and not all of them, but a lot of them are packaged with an apology. Yeah. And I think what's coming next, I think the direction they're going into, at least based on reports and rumors, is gonna alleviate a lot of that. Yeah. So I think it's gonna make more sense next gen. The Switch is on its way, possibly, to becoming the best-selling console of all time.
That's crazy.
If third-party companies feel like they have a console that's capable enough to run their stuff, where it's not like requiring a whole team to get it just to operate, I think they're not going to want to miss that train. I don't think they're going to want to miss that hype, and I expect to see third-party stuff come to Switch, and hopefully, even better yet, some more third-party exclusives that aren't just, as much as I love games like Triangle Strategy, ones that aren't smaller scale, some bigger scale third-party exclusives. But
I think you're right. I think I'm trying not to get too excited. I don't want to be let down, but I am really hopeful in terms of third parties on the Switch too. Like, I think, like, it took a while on the Switch because clearly after the Wii U, they basically wanted Nintendo to prove to them that there was a system worth putting their games on. you know, and so, and even then some waited, but I think, you know, like you said, supposedly it is meant to be like a base PS4. It supposedly got a DLSS. The rumor was that at Gamescom they were showing a demo of Breath of the Wild running 4K 60, which wasn't. A lot of people thought it was, including me, thought it was just an updated version of the game, a port of the game, but it wasn't. Supposedly it was using the feature which developers will be able to use on their older games on the Switch 2, which effectively means they can get older games and make them look better and make them run better. Which to me just sounds like DLSS. A lot of people are they're talking about that as though it was some kind of different feature, but it just sounds, that's what DLSS is. That's basically gets, you know, an image, up-reses it, makes it run better. But if they can do that quickly, there's so many games do that on Switch 1. Like if I could automatically grab my cartridge of Doom and Doom Eternal and like they automatically go up to like 1080, 60 or whatever, 4K 30, whatever, that would be like, I'd literally be playing my old games on day one, you know, before I even play a new game. So yeah, I think in terms of the third parties, I think that's I'm hopeful anyways. I'm hopeful.
And again, you made a great point. Another couple great points about day and date. I think day and date's a big deal. Like you said.
Massive.
If it's 12 months, a year and 18 months, a year and a half later, it's like most people who are really excited about that game already played it. Not to mention when you have a company like EA taking away half of the features or game modes. It's like there's two sandwich shops. They both sell the same sandwich.
Yeah.
They're the same price, but one of the sandwiches has 4 bites taken out of it. Which one are you going to get?
Exactly.
And one of them's a week old. You know what I mean? Which one are you going to buy? So it sucks to win. I really want them to go hard. There's a lot of third parties that we have not gotten on the Switch. We talked about Sega showing, talking about showing some support to Nintendo. Bring the Yakuza series.
Oh man, God, yeah.
Like, I love that series so much. The new one is really helping that series take off because it got so many 10 out of 10s. But then I want to see we have some BioWare stuff that's really great. The Mass Effect games. I'd love to see those.
I would love them to come over. Yeah.
Bring some Dragon Age 1, 2, and 3 remasters, and then have the new one day and date on Switch 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Pat in the chat says, give us Bully. Oh, damn. I would so kill for a full remake of that game. That game was so... I had it on the Wii, of all consoles. Of all consoles. But what... You know, really obviously... I mean, that's not an obscure game. That's a big game. But... there's a game that I've been wanting to replay for so long, and I'm digging out my Wii to play. It was there's a Scarface game on the Wii, which is like a GTA clone basically, and it's so good. Like if you like the film, that game is amazing. It's like you can go into like any car and then automatically go on the radio and put on the film soundtrack. It's just so good, amazing game. But yeah, Bully for sure.
I gotta ask you real quick, not to derail, but you're a huge Al Pacino fan.
My favorite.
Because you told me when we talked that you were going to be watching Al Pacino movies all night. Now you're talking about Scarface on the Wii. I didn't even know there was a Scarface on the Wii. You're hardcore, dude.
Dude, it's so good. Like, I'm telling you, you're running around the streets with a chainsaw. It's amazing. But you know what? Like briefly, sometimes I'll scroll on Twitter and like I never comment, like ever. Not on Twitter, sorry, on TikTok. I'll scroll. I'll never comment. And then one day I came across this video and it's just started off by two guys talking, and one of them starts off the video by saying, I just don't think Al Pacino's a good actor. I was like, oh my God. I found myself instantly just typing, commenting in there like, oh my, get your face out of it. How dare you? But I'll mention one more impossible port, only because I think it's quite an interesting one. Hold on, Pat says such an underrated game on Wii. Is he talking about Scarface or Bully? Probably Scarface. Oh, it is so underrated. This is a very curious case because I don't know if you remember, like ages ago, it must be now over a year ago. No, man, it's probably over 2 years ago, maybe even 3 years ago, that during a Nintendo Direct, they announced Dying Light 2 as a cloud game. Right. And I remember because I think they announced it maybe around the same time as Hogwarts, or even before. I can't remember. It was crazy. And that obviously never came out. And it's just disappeared. They have never mentioned it. They've like not in passing, not in nothing have they even spoken about that game. 1 second. And I just saw Pat's comment. And so I still do think that is coming out. I don't think it's going to come out on Switch. I do think it's going to be on Switch too, but I don't think it's going to be a cloud version of the game anymore. As opposed to that's basically what it was going to be on Switch. And that's a huge game. I don't even know if it's out on PS4. I'm not even sure. But that's a huge game, and that would be interesting to see how that runs on the current Switch 2. But the other thing is, like you said, we don't know the specs, and like I'm trying to temper my expectations. I don't know about people in the chat, but I remember when they were speculating about the Switch specs. And like, I don't know if you remember, but the specs they were talking about were insane. Like they were talking fully fledged, like, oh my God, it was PS4 back then, you know, like it was like, right. Do you remember? Like there was so many videos day upon day upon day. And it was just like, you know, obviously it came out nowhere near as powerful as that. And the same thing happened actually with the Wii, when, you know, there was rumors that was going to be super powerful. It's going to be more powerful than the PS3, the 360. And effectively, it was just two GameCubes stuck together. That's effectively what it was. So I'm really nervous about this. Like, I'm a bit, like, is it really, if it's a base, I know people complaining, oh my God, a base PS4, that would be amazing in your hands. But I wonder if it's even going to be that, you know? I don't know what you think. I don't know what you think about the 8-inch screen also. Do you think that's a real thing?
I want to say yes, because there's just been so many rumors and reports about it. Yeah. Not that should give it any credibility, because we all know how many dead rumors are out there.
Oh, man.
Like you, I believe it. I tuned in to one of your live streams, and I think it was one of your live streams. You were talking about how you were totally on board with Switch Pro and believed in it.
Oh, and 100%.
It was the same. And I still think it was a thing. I think that, you know, everything, you know, that happened during that time, you know, a lot of the factories being shut down, and there's a lot of, you know, outside unexpected elements that led to probably them not doing that and just being like, yeah, let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah, no, sorry, go on.
Oh, go ahead. No.
No, I was just saying, I fully invested in that dream, you know, because the rumors, you have to remember, like, the rumors for the Switch Pro started, you know, like barely a year after the Switch had been out. It was like so soon that had happened. So after a couple of years, I thought, yeah, this is probably true, and you know, and I was kind of happy for it as well. I was like, yeah, I could do with Switch Pro. I wouldn't mind. I think I'd like that. And like you said, like I think you probably saw on my live stream, I lost a bet to that. I ended up betting another YouTuber that it would come out a certain day. It didn't, and I had to dress up as Shakira and play Just Dance live on my channel. And it was people to this day still ask me where that video is, and it's like it's deleted. It never stayed up there. Like, how dare you?
I love it. But yeah, no, I'm inclined to believe it right now. It does seem rather large.
Yeah.
But
it's basically because I think the Stream Deck, the Steam Deck, is 7. I think the OLED version of that is 7.2 or 7.4. I can't remember. I think it's 7.2 inches, and so that's a huge machine. And it's the PlayStation, the PS5. What do you call it? The PS5, you know, portable.
The Portal.
Yeah, the Portal. That's an 8-inch screen. So, but it's massive, man. Like, you know, I was like, I don't know if I see Nintendo.
Well, also, well, Sony's design is weird too, because the DualSense is a nice controller, but slapping each side of a DualSense controller to a screen is ridiculous. Like, it's so bulky.
It's so ugly, dude. Like, it's like like the cheek to call that portable as well. It's like you cannot get that through an airport. That is insane, man. It's just insane. So like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I just don't see. I don't think Nintendo has to do that either. I do hope it's not 6.4. I hope it's not the OG Switch size screen.
I I think it's at least the size of the OLED.
That would be fine with me, yeah. That would be, you know, I know a lot of people were, you know, annoyed that it's apparently it's an LCD screen, not an OLED. I wasn't surprised. I thought that's exactly what Nintendo would do and release an OLED down the line a year or two later. You know, everyone's going to buy it twice, so it doesn't, you know, doesn't really matter.
And plus, like, it's safe. It's a safe bet that the internals are going to be more expensive than what we have with the Switch.
Yeah.
So Switch 2 is likely going to be a more expensive console.
That's the thing as well. Like, do you think?
Yeah. I think it's going to be at least $399.
Oh man, because what was the Switch? Was it $350 when it came out? $350, right? Yeah. See, and the thing that makes me nervous about that is the Wii U. I think the Wii U was the first time Nintendo sold a console at a loss, I think. And I can't remember what that sold for, but I'm sure it was $400 when it first came out.
I thought it was $299, but you might be right.
Oh, was it? Maybe it was. Oh shit, and it still sold at a loss. But no, they sold at a loss anyway. So, and I thought, I remember thinking Nintendo's never going to do that again after the Wii U. They're never, because they famously always sell their hardware at a profit. And I forgot, like, to sell it at $400, they'd definitely be selling at a loss, you'd think then. I don't think Nintendo ever sells at a big loss. It's usually like, you know, I think even the Switch.
Maybe $449.
Yeah, God, imagine. Oh, God.
Yeah. Which is, yeah, it's wild when you think about a Nintendo console costing that much. But like, I try and remember this going into this gen, and I've mentioned this on Just Restart's podcast before. It's really hard predicting what comes next this time, because for the first time since the DS and the Wii, Nintendo's under new leadership. Yeah. They had a fill-in president, you know, after Iwata passed. But we're under new leadership, and there's a very interesting thing that we can discuss it in this stream today, because I know you wanted to talk about gimmicks. Is there going to be a gimmick?
Yeah, I was going to go into definitely. Go for it.
And I think there's a great conversation there, because most people in most rumors and reports are saying that this is just going to be iterative. It's just going to be a more powerful Switch, which to me is the most un-Nintendo thing I've ever heard, as far as, you know, modern, since they created that blue ocean philosophy.
Yeah.
Red ocean is Sony and Sony and Microsoft. We're doing blue ocean. We're doing something completely different. If the Switch 2 is just a more powerful Switch, then it's no longer blue ocean, because handheld hybrid consoles are a dime a dozen now.
Yeah.
Every year there's a new company putting out a new one.
Exactly.
And they run Steam, and they're running, you know, games from all the consoles, and they're 4K and all that stuff. So it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, Nintendo's just going to do a more powerful iterative thing.
Yeah.
It just sounds so un-Nintendo. Maybe they will. I mean, Nintendo has the one thing none of those handhelds have, and that's, you know, massive exclusives that are going to sell gangbusters.
Yeah, no matter what they do.
And the Zeldas and the Animal Crossings and the Pokemons. So
I wonder, I'll see if I can find it, because it's funny, I'm going to do a video on this like really soon. I'm probably going to record it tomorrow, and it's going to go into whether the option Nintendo has, because I know a lot of Nintendo fans, there's a lot of, like, you know, older Nintendo fans like my age or whatever, who at least part of them kind of wants Nintendo to go at Sony and Microsoft in terms of specs. Like, they missed the days of the N64 and the GameCube, where they were like, they would release a game and it was like the prettiest game of that generation. You know, like when Metroid Prime came out, that was the prettiest game of that generation across any console. Same with Wind Waker. You know, same on the N64, same on the Super Nintendo, right? And it's been a long time since that, and I think a lot of fans still kind of want that. But like, I was, you know, talking about basically the pitfalls that Nintendo had with the N64, with machines that were more powerful. Like, you could say that's the other reasons, right? Some people say, well, the N64 didn't fail because it was powerful and expensive. It failed because it had cartridges and like low memory, and, you know, Sony went more for a mature audience, you know, that kind of stuff, you know. But there was a quote from Iwata. I'm never gonna find it now, but it's such a good quote, because I was gonna start my video with it. I'm not gonna find it, but he's basically talking about how gamers just get bored no matter how Like basically, no matter how much specs you throw at something, how much graphics you want to show off, they will wow an audience for a certain time, but then they will get bored and they'll want the next thing. If all you ever have is you know a superficial aesthetic, that's not going to be enough, right? And so that's why Nintendo always feels the need that they need to find a new thing, a new way to play games, something that's going to, you know, capture people's imagination, something that's going to surprise them, to always keep that interest, right? And you know, like the DS, they had like the stylus, and that's how you played games. With the Wii, they had Wiimote, and you know that opened up different forms of gameplay. It had motion controls, it had like the point and shoot, and all that kind of stuff, right? And it got me thinking specifically more about this generation, because I feel like this is the first generation in a long time where even fans of like Sony and Microsoft, even like owners of PS5 and Xbox Series XS, seem a bit bored. Like I've heard loads of people talk about this as being the worst generation for a long time, because the difference in terms of like specs going from a PS4 to PS5 noticeably to the eye is so minute. There's like, you know, well, we've seen like most games that come out on PS5 have come out on PS4 as well. Like they've only got a handful of exclusives on the PS5. So people seem quite bored already, you know. And so I think like if Nintendo does come out with a Switch 2 that's just better specs, it'll be, it'll look, it might be a big jump compared to the original Switch, but it won't look as good as the PS5. So it's not going to wow anyone graphically, really.
I think that's a really good thing.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
I have an argument about that. I do wanna throw this in real quick for my first thought. With that being said, them just doing a more iterative, more powerful Switch 2. Yeah. Even though that sounds so un-Nintendo and it's not Blue Ocean, which Nintendo's really built itself on since at least the Wii and the DS. Yeah. Again, it's a different Nintendo. We have someone else in charge. I know Iwata was a game developer first.
That's it, yeah.
And I know Furukawa is more on the business side. Yeah. So he might see things differently. So we might be entering that era of Nintendo being like, well, we want to compete in the power side. We want to go more towards tradition and not gamble on gimmicks each gen. There's who's to say this is a new Nintendo. So we'll find out. I don't think anything that's happened in the past is going to be a clear indication. Maybe it is, but I don't think it's a clear indication of what to expect down the road. But with that being said, go ahead.
No, go for it.
I just wanted to say, in hindsight, at the time when the Wii came out, I was a little bit disappointed in that graphic.
I was for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And then with the Wii U, it was a little bit less, and I think that's because when I saw games like Mario Kart, and Nintendo, they're wizards with their first party. Yeah. For the most part, their first party games, you're like, holy crap. Like Mario Kart 8, when that came out, I was like, oh, this looks like it would be like, if it didn't have Nintendo characters, this looks like it would be a PS4 game.
Yeah, it still looks amazing now.
Just looks fantastic. Yeah. And the Switch is the same, has games like Luigi's Mansion with incredible lighting and
beautiful game.
Beautiful animations. But in hindsight, when I think of look at the position that Sony's in right now, where it's like their big exclusives. I love Sony. It's my second favorite. It's been my second favorite console. Yeah. Next to Nintendo. I've always been Sony, Nintendo. I didn't start getting into Microsoft until recent years. Yeah. I never had the first Xbox. I never had a 360.
Yeah, me either.
I never had an Xbox One. I have a Series S.
That's why I've got a Series S just down here.
Oh, okay.
You're exactly the same as me.
Xbox console.
Yeah.
But I've always loved PlayStation. In fact, the PS2 is one of my favorite consoles of all time. I think it's the best. PS2 and PS4, I think, are the two best PlayStation consoles, personally.
Yeah, I think PS4 is definitely my favorite PlayStation console, for sure. Easily.
But look, when you look at like the exclusives and what these companies are able to put out, it's so like game development is so difficult, it's so expensive, and now it's like, dude, every single day studios being shut down, hundreds of people being laid off. If a game isn't like a critical success, it has to earn so much money back now. Yeah. Or it's a failure. If a game doesn't sell 10 million, 15 million units, it failed. not only are you not getting a sequel, but half the team got cut off from closing the studio. That's not an issue for Nintendo. Nintendo's able to gamble more on weird and unique experiences. And if a thing doesn't pan out, like if Metroid Prime doesn't sell 15 million units, Retro's fine.
Yeah.
Retro's fine.
Yeah, I mean, Nintendo has, was it $11 billion? No, $11 billion in reserve.
Yeah, they get a lot of money.
It's insane. But like, you bring up an interesting point because like, as you were talking, I had a thought that just entered my mind. It was, do you think, this is an interesting one. And then let's say the next generation, let's say the Switch 2 enters, it's going to enter mid-generation. But the generation after that, so you have to think we've got a couple of years left, at least 2 or 3 years left, at least with the PS5. I know they're saying they're disappointed with their sales and they're looking at maybe, well, they actually said the PS5 is now in the latter stages of its life cycle. They're maybe looking at hurrying up the PS6. And I know Xbox have obviously been talking about their next console being an insanely high jump technologically. So, but do you think the next generation will be the last time there's a 3-horse race? I'm thinking specifically about the Microsoft. That's what I'm thinking about. Mr. Arkham, welcome in the chat. Good to see you, bro.
I think,
because like Microsoft, I don't know what their plan is, what their strategy is, but they cannot. I've heard a lot of people, I think it was actually Sony. There's some people at Sony, when they first heard of what Microsoft would do with Game Pass, they flat out said, we cannot do that. We don't know how Microsoft is able to do that and not be losing insanely amount of money. They must be losing crazy money. That's what Sony was saying back then. Yeah. This is years ago. So like now it's like evidently Microsoft, like something had to give, right? Between Game Pass, if it's true they are losing money, them spending more than Disney did on Star Wars, on Bethesda and Activision, and all them. Something had to give. So you can see why they would feel the need to put older games on other consoles. But on top of that, their hardware not selling as well. Like, I don't know. I don't see them staying in the console market. Like, I see them bowing out of hardware.
Yeah, I think Microsoft has one more console in them.
Yeah.
I think we get one more, and if we see something after that, what I imagine is, we have, we're on what, 5G networks now, yeah. Maybe by the one after that, we're doing 6, 7G, and cloud service is like so good that it's much more mainstream. I could see Microsoft maybe pioneering some sort of a cloud box where you buy one box and that's the box forever, kind of like, Fire Stick TV, and it gets its updates, and you pay your subscription and you have some sort of a Game Pass thing going on.
Yeah,
I see them definitely going full service. I don't know how they necessarily make their money back, other than licensing their games out to other platforms like they're planning to start doing. But I mean, Microsoft, their pockets are so much deeper than Nintendo and Sony's that they can afford, whether or not shareholders are like abandon the games industry. This is bogus. They have the money to lose.
Yeah.
Lose a handful of generations, really. It just doesn't look good from a business perspective, and there's obviously no way for them to catch up.
No, exactly. I'll just say, because I saw people asking in the chat, we haven't done the giveaway yet. We're gonna do it towards the end of the podcast. So if you're here for your chance to win what's it called? Penny's Big Breakaway, Penny's Big Breakaway on Switch. Stay tuned. Like, we're gonna do a giveaway towards the end of the podcast. Yeah, no, like I envisage two things. I envisage both Sony and Microsoft releasing portables to take on the Switch 2. I just don't see a world where they're not talking about that right now behind the scenes. There isn't a world where Microsoft is sitting there having sold 27 million Xboxes, looking over at the Switch selling 140 and thinking, why don't we do that? And same with Microsoft. I was with Sony. Yeah. Like, people still talk about the Vita. People love the Vita. you know, I mean, it wasn't a failure. It still sold. I think it was. Didn't it sell what did it sell actually? I think I was going to say 80 million, but I think that's the PSP. The PSP sold about 80 million. Yeah, I can't remember actually what the Vita sold. Yeah, but you know, like I just that is clearly the way, you know, things seem to be going, because the thing is now with portables is that you do have parity with home consoles. Like things do look that good now that, you know, the hybrids are like with my Switch. No matter how good something looks on the next gen, like I will wait to get it on my Switch. Like I waited for Doom because it's like the convenience of having it, you know. And so I just don't imagine a world where they don't release their own portables in the next gen. But I do still think, I just think it'll be Microsoft. Like they seem so, and I've got like same as you, I've actually started to really like Microsoft in the last couple of years. Even though I thought they were ratty with their leaked emails, seemingly trying to buy Nintendo, their little ratty ways. Nonetheless, I bought an Series S, and I love it. Like Game Pass is insane. It's absolutely insane, Game Pass. But
it's literally the best consumer value.
It's crazy. It's gaming. Absolutely crazy, dude. Like,
obviously, it's losing them money, but it is such a good value.
Yeah, exactly. But like, yeah, I just don't think they're in their little podcast when they try to, you know, make everyone feel better. Don't worry, we're still gonna make something else. The fact that the thing that they said to assure their fans was, we're gonna release another machine and it's gonna be unbelievably powerful. And I was like, but that's not the problem. That's not why you're not selling hardware. Like, it's something to do with the specs in your machine. You know, it's for some reason you just, I don't know, people prefer Sony's first party games, you know, and Microsoft just took its time gathering up its own, you know. So I worry that they're still a bit tone deaf.
I'm of the belief, and I might be wrong on this one, but like, again, I was saying earlier how much I love Sony. I hate the PS5. I think, I'll be honest.
I hate it.
I think the PS5 sucks.
Yeah.
It's the small, within the time frame of the console being out, it's my smallest library.
Yeah, for sure.
For a Sony console.
Man, we are so alike in so many of these things, dude.
Yeah. It's funny.
Yeah.
And I want to be clear with everyone. I'm not like a one or two genre kind of gamer. I play a lot of games. Like if you look at how diverse my game library is, I play visual novels, JRPGs, action adventure, fighting. Like I play stuff across the board. Yeah. But yeah, we're late in the PS5 life cycle. There's when I compare my PS4 library to my PS5, it won't even be close by. Granted, there are some fantastic third-party games coming to PS5. I'm not going to knock it. I'm very excited for FF7 Rebirth. I'm really excited to check out Rise of the Ronin. There's some cool stuff. I loved Demon Souls Remake, which launched with the PS5. Was super hyped for me as a big Souls fan. But yeah, no, it's just like, it's drought after drought, and Sony spent so much time, and I know this isn't a Sony podcast, but since we brought up,
no, go for it.
I'm gonna vent a little bit.
Go vent.
Dude, what the hell, Sony? Why give us PlayStation VR 2?
Oh man.
With no reason since launch. I didn't buy one because I was like, well, I want to see how they support this, and of course they didn't.
Yeah.
Like, they have still not.
Dude, I didn't even know it was out.
I feel so bad for everyone who picked it up in hopes of a promise for experiences that you could only experience there. And I know the tech's good on it. Tech isn't the problem. The tech, from what I hear, the tech works great. But there's no killer IP. And there's no sign of one coming. And PlayStation Portal, super niche. It's like, maybe if it was a new handheld that had its own dedicated game library, or did it need to be tethered, then I could be like, okay, this is cool. I'm gonna want to check this out. But yeah, I don't know what Sony's doing this gen. I feel like they got so cocky after how great PS4 was. That I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree, dude. Like I bought PS5 like more or less near the beginning. Like I mean, it was difficult to get, but I got it pretty early on. Gave away my PS4. And then I don't think I kept the PS5 for, I don't know how long I kept it for, like under a year for sure. And then I gave it away to my little boy, like gave it to him, so he's got it now. But for a while I was using it just as like my Netflix machine. Like I literally said so. I compared it to the Wii U in that like people talk about the drought the Wii U had for this, I don't know, this first 6 months, the launch period. But I honestly think the PS5, compared to the expectations, that had a worse launch period. It was just nothing, especially if you take into account the fact that what did it have that wasn't also on the PS4? They had like 2 or 3 exclusives in that whole time that was not available on PS4, which is insane to me. Like, they can release a machine that expensive and have that little software on it. It's just... But equally, it's insane to me that it's still sold 50 million. I can't believe it sold 50 million. And like, they're disappointed, but that's...
And that's why I say I feel like it's riding off of the success of the
100%.
PS4, because the PS4 is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, it's funny enough, like the Wii U being so bad was the reason I got a PS4. But I loved, PS4s. Oh my god, that introduced me to Dying Light, Far Cry 4, like so many games on there I played. It was a beautiful game, bunch of Call of Duty games. Yeah, so good. Last of Us, yeah, but I played Last of Us Remastered. Yeah, that's got crazy. Like, plus they had a 3D Blu-ray player inside it. The PS5 does not have a 3D Blu-ray. I miss my 3D Blu-rays. God damn it. But okay, well, I was thinking to end up the podcast, why don't we briefly talk about what we think Nintendo will have as its gimmick in on the PS2, if you have any ideas. I've got a few just from rumors. I was reading up a bunch of like old patents and rumors as to what people think it is. So I can go first. I wish I'd actually took pictures of the patents, because it would have been quite interesting to see. But I do think, funny enough, talking about VR, I do think that will come into play in some way. I do think they're going to have another dabble at VR. I know they had Labo and they did a little experiments with that, and that was actually really cool. But I think I don't think they're going to go in the way Sony did. I think they're going to try and find a way to make it more social. Like in the patents, I wish I had them. The patents show someone wearing a VR headset, but then a second person being able to play along with them using their phone. So I think, for example, they're like there's a table in the middle, and the person wearing the headset is looking at a chess set, for example, and the person on the phone can basically point into that same space and see virtually what the person wearing the headset is seeing, but on their phone screen, and they're able to interact with them that way. So I think like they might do something. It might not be that, but I do think they're playing around with something like that for sure.
Sure.
But I don't know if what you think.
Yeah, VR is a tough one for me, just because like I feel like if they plan on going really hard into it, I could see them doing that, or doing more of like not necessarily like Labo, but doing a game that comes like, maybe it's a more affordable like sort of like mock VR headset, better than the Labo
for
VR
sure
headset, but it has a pack-in game, not like, oh, any Switch 2 game you could play in VR with this mock headset, but something like Nintendo Land, or something specifically designed as a VR experience, and have a game like that. If VR is a part of this, I feel like they have to go all in. It has to be a core feature of the Switch 2, because I feel like if it is just like this little side extra thing, I don't think it's going to move the needle, and I think it's going to have the Kinect effect where Xbox or Microsoft is like, Xbox One coexists with Kinect, and that's the way it has to be. It's designed that way, and then they removed it later. Yep. You know what I mean?
100%. I'll just say, everyone in the chat, I know people asked me for the giveaway. We're going to do the giveaway pretty soon. We'll probably be on maybe another 10 minutes. I did want to jump on Mario Kart, but I'm wary that when I switch screens, I think for some reason we lost our mics when that happened. So I'm a bit wary of trying that again if the same thing is going to happen, because to be honest, I couldn't replicate it. I don't know why that would happen in the first place. I'm going to just try something really briefly. I'm going to switch over to the next screen. You guys let me know if you can still hear our mics or whether they get cut off. I'm just going to switch over for 5 seconds just to test it. If it works, cool. If not, we'll leave it for another day. But let me try it now. Let me know in the chat.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think you guys could hear us there, could you? I don't think. It's really weird. I'm not sure why that happened. Settle in, Smash. Welcome again, bro. I haven't seen you for a while. Welcome to the channel. We're nearly done, so we're going to do the giveaway. We're just going to finish up in about 5-10 minutes. But let us know how you're doing. Settle in, Fish. Pat Campion says, bring back the foldable screens. Yeah. Yeah, well, seeing that, no sound, he said. Yeah, I don't know what. I'm going to have a look at that. After the stream or maybe in the morning and see why that's happening. I'm not sure why it cuts off when I go to the other screen. It's such a shame because we had like a cool little setup for that. Yeah, I do think there'll be a VR, but I think they're gonna have something more integral that's there like for the everyday use. You know, like the Joy-Cons, right? That the Joy-Con was its thing.
Yeah.
You know, that so made it different.
I got a couple.
Okay, go for it. Oh yes, go for it.
And Pat in the chat named one of mine. I've been advocating for this. I know a lot of people disagree. Andres and I have, Andres Restart and I have debated it on his podcast a few times because he's like, no way. But I think it's still a possibility. Dual screen, some sort of dual screen factor.
I would love it.
There's cool tech that they could do. They have the bending screens now.
Yeah.
Where it could be a seamless without having, you know, that disconnect.
Yeah.
It could be an attachment, you know. It could be an add-on that you could buy. You know, they could have, you know, some sort of dongle that you attach. But here's the thing. The DS and the 3DS are beloved, and they have massive libraries.
Yeah.
The DS being one of the greatest.
Oh, I know where you're going with this. Yep, go on.
Time. And so many of those games are trapped on that hardware.
That's
and
so
when
true.
we have had things pulled over to Switch, they've been serviceable, but they're dumbed down because they don't have the features. They don't play as well. We need to be able to get hands-on with that library again and not have those games die on those consoles because they're dual screen. The Wii U had the same effect because when I think of games like Wind Waker HD or Twilight Princess HD, even if we get remasters of those on the Switch, the Wii U objectively is the better version because of dual screen, because you have your menus, you can switch between your items right there. There's no breaking the immersion, there's no pausing. It's the better version. So another thing, NSO. We know that Nintendo Switch Online is carrying over to the next console.
Absolutely.
They're running out of NES games. They're running out of SNES games. They're running out of Genesis games. I could see Dreamcast maybe coming. Unfortunately, I don't think GameCube is coming. We're getting a lot of remakes and remasters of those. But DS and 3DS are two massive libraries with tons and tons of games. Link Between Worlds, one of the best 3DS games of all time. We had some great Final Fantasy remakes on the DS. So much stuff. Bring that to NSO. Bring back you know, some of those great features that the dual screen really allowed games to have. I feel like the Wii U was way ahead of its time. Unfortunately, I don't think tech was there to fully realize that. And something as simple as having like your menus or your items or your map on a second screen is such a phenomenal quality of life feature. But that's my first guess.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, we got you. Sorry, you disappeared for a second, but we got you back. Dude, I was trying to put on the trailer, because you're talking about the Wii U. People, thank you, by the way, thank you so much for the likes. Make sure you smash that like button again. We are going to do the giveaway in a second. Also, I want to make sure, I got Cameron here, so I've got his link, right, it should be in the description. Did you check if it's working now?
It's good.
Was it working?
Yeah.
Make sure, I'm just going to test it myself, make sure it's working. Oh, it is. Yep. Okay, yeah, so I got Cameron from GameBird Classic here. His channel is amazing. He does really, really awesome content, really awesome takes, super high energetic, knows his stuff. Please check out his channel. It is in the description below. Really hope you go and give it a watch. Iyoku's there. What's the question? Are they bringing back the style? Are they bringing back the stylist? Says Pat. Did I miss something? Iyoku, bienvenido. Welcome, my friend. Yeah, no, please. I think I ran into camera about a month ago. GameBird Classic. Dude, I'll tell you the absolute truth. I saw one of your videos. I literally think I subscribed in about 15 seconds. Literally. I saw like your intros. His intros are amazing, by the way. And he's, like I said, he's super high energetic, but like always something really interesting to say. And so like I always look forward to your content. You did a bunch of like really awesome videos recently. I saw a podcast that you did. You did a really awesome prediction video with loads of YouTubers who like jumped at the chance to be in your video. So I urge everyone in the chat here, if you scroll down to the description, make sure you click on GameBird Classic's channel. It's right there in the description. Please check him out. You won't be disappointed at all. Is that it there? Oh, there you go. It's up in the chat at the moment, people. So if you go check out, thank you, Dr. Who, for putting it in the chat. Awesome, bro. I mean, you can't click on this one here, but in the chat you can click on it. So make sure you definitely click on it. Thank you so much, bro. You won't regret it at all. It's definitely an awesome YouTuber to follow. Oh yeah, so you're talking about I was trying to get the trailer up now. I don't think it's gonna let me. Hold on, is it gonna let me? No, because I have to sign in. It's like, because I think it's 18 rated or something. It won't let me play the video. No! Hold on. Let me see if it will let me play it on this version. No, damn it. Basically, I was gonna show the trailer for one of the top 5 Wii U games, Zombie U. What? Oh my god. Behave yourselves in the chat if you've never played this classic. You can get it on PS4 and Xbox. It's not the same. It's not the same experience. On the Wii U gamepad. Where's my Wii U gamepad? I'll show you how good it is. Basically, that I don't call it gimmick, but I feel like it's that and Nintendo Land were the only 2 games to use that controller properly. So like you'd have, for example, there's a part in Zombie U where, I don't know, you break into Buckingham Palace and you go into like a security shut door and you have to type in, a number into the keypad. Now, ordinarily in any other game, that would effectively be a pause screen, right? So whilst you type in the number and you're out of danger and all of that. But on the Wii U, that keypad would go down to the gamepad, and you're thinking, oh, I've got all day to put in the code here. But meanwhile, on the TV, the game would continue. And so you'll be like putting in a key card, a password, and the zombies would be running around the corner on the TV towards you. And like, the first time that happened to me, I was like, oh my god, that was so cool. And they did loads of little things like that in that game. $5 it cost me on eBay. I'm so happy to find this. I might even stream it one day. But yeah, the Wii U, without the Wii U, there's no Switch. There's no Switch. Frankly, so people can say whatever they want about the Wii U, but no, without that, forget about a Switch coming out. But yeah, it's like, oh man, the dual screen sounds amazing, dude. I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
It's just like Nintendo has the greatest catalog of video games of all time. They've been in the business longer than anyone. And to have 2 pieces of hardware, the DS and the 3DS, with hundreds of fantastic games just being locked there, and it's like, well, they're stuck there, sorry guys. It just doesn't make any sense. And so I don't know if it's not this gen that we get dual screen back in some form factor, even if it's just, maybe the Switch has some sort of tethering mechanic, and it like the PlayStation Portal, the Switch 2 is a handheld, but there's a box that's plugged into your TV, some sort of like device, and it tethers it to your TV so you can get the dual screen experience. Yeah. And maybe you don't have that on the go unless there's some sort of a vertical. I don't know how they do it. Maybe it's an attachment.
That's it, yeah. Oh, that would be amazing.
I would like to dub it the Switch Flip.
Well, that's a good bit. Do you think they'll keep the Switch name?
No.
Nah. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't want it to be another Wii U problem, of course. Maybe just a Switch 2, or maybe, I don't know. But incidentally, quickly, because someone's, who was it? Campion's laughing in there. Pat laughing my ass off. The only Wii U game not to get ported over. Exactly. The disrespect, although you can see it now on your screens. Xenoblade Chronicles X still not ported over. Such a crime. The only reason I can believe is because they're probably working on a remaster. There was rumors of a remaster or remake possibly for the Switch 2, so hopefully they'll do that instead. But yeah, the split screen is awesome. Do you think they'll continue with the Joy-Cons?
So this is one I've pitched. I've pitched a lot of stuff on.
Oh no, go!
Channel.
I'm intrigued. Go.
I have this weird segment. I gotta have you on the podcast that I'm doing. GameBird
Absolutely,
Weekly,
man. Anytime.
Because I do this segment. It's a lot of fun. With my buddy who co-hosts it with me. It's called the Let's Get Nuts segment.
Yeah.
And we basically just throw out wild predictions. And it doesn't necessarily have to be things that we believe are coming, but it's just an opportunity to go fun and have some basis on reality, but just really go wild with it. But one of the things that I've been predicting since the Switch Pro, I started this during the Switch Pro, is that I thought when the Switch Pro came out that Nintendo was going to announce brand new Joy-Cons called Pro-Cons. And they're going to be more ergonomic.
No, that's a good name though.
Yeah,
that's a well good name. Pro-Cons. That's what you said, right? Pro-Cons.
Yeah,
Pro-Cons. Non-drift edition.
Yeah, non-drift edition.
Oh, damn. This is the thing, like
Pro-Cons with analog triggers.
Oh, that's
digital.
That's what the gamepad's missing, man. Because I had to buy myself like this 8-bit do. I don't know if you guys can see there, 8-bit do Switch Pro controller I bought, which is super, super nice. But that's what do you know what? Ideally, what I would love them to release an updated version of the GameCube controller. Oh man, with 2 sticks, proper analog, or keep the same those because they still have the best analogs. Still got the best analogs. But the Joy-Cons, like, do you remember, like, people? I bet no one even remembers until I'm about to say it now. The fact that they've got, I've got one here. They've got, where is it? The sensor on the bottom. We never use that anymore. On the right Joy-Con, it's got the little sensor. Even the HD Rumble, like, it just, like, never use it anymore. Other than 1-2 switch where you could milk some cows and do various stuff like.
HD Rumble, it was a real bummer because of all the controller gimmicks for Switch. Like, that was the one where I was like, oh, that's really cool. And I got to give Sony credit. I know I bagged a lot on Sony this gen. I think the DualSense Rumble is really fantastic. And like HD Rumble, it doesn't fully utilize it in a lot of experiences. But there are times when I play it, I'm like, man, this Rumble feels really good. Even if they're not trying to do the walking through the mud or it's raining on you. I know Astro's Playroom is phenomenal for the DualSense Rumble, but yeah, it's a bummer. I wish HD Rumble was better, and I wish it was utilized a little bit better. That is one gimmick that I enjoyed, at least at launch.
Oh, dude, like it had potential for sure. And I'll get into it. I'll just read. Dan K's message says they mentioned it would be an undertaking bringing X over. Xenoblade Chronicles X over to the Switch in the past. It's not a similar situation to Skyward Sword. Skyward Sword is like, let me know in the chat where you sit on Skyward Sword, because I'm on the side with that game. I do not like Skyward Sword at all. That I've tried to play that multiple times as well. Like, I've played it maybe 3, 4, 5 times, and not once can I get on board with it. Just, I don't know, it doesn't hit me. I don't know. I don't know where I sit on the Joy-Cons. I feel like because it's the thing. If it's an 8-inch screen as well, like, I mean, they're going to presumably have bigger Joy-Cons, or at least different design Joy-Cons in some kind of way, right? They can't be the same tiny, titchy kind of Joy-Cons they have now. They're going to have to be modified in some way. I know they're not really comfy to use split. But the other thing is, right, is that when the Switch first came out, and I did this loads, like I took it to work, I played it tabletop mode, I played it split Joy-Con with like friends. Like, I think everyone did that when it first came out for sure. But I don't even know anyone who plays it tabletop anymore. Usually I just have it in my hands, but or even plays split screen. I think most people, split Joy-Con I should say, I think most people have their own Joy-Cons or have a Pro Controller, or I don't think that's necessarily a thing they can really lean into with the Switch 2 going forward. It's not a selling point anymore, I don't think.
I mean, I think it's great if you have young kids and it's one of those scenarios where, you don't have extra controllers, and in that, specific moment, it works out where the kids are able to split them off and you know, play around in Mario Kart. I feel like like you said, for the majority of users, I think it was kind of a clever little mechanic that just no one really uses except for those rare instances. I mean, personally, I'd prefer it if they didn't do detachable controllers.
Ooh, controversial.
Yeah, it's a little controversial. It's only because I hate the way it feels when I'm playing in handheld. I hate there's a little bit of like looseness.
Yeah,
and I feel like it's the one thing that makes the Switch feel a little bit cheap. I have my Switch, and it's from a company called Cracked Nitro.
Oh,
Deck.
nice.
Mine's the Super Nintendo model, so it has like the Super Nintendo. I have not switched to normal handheld since, because this thing is so comfy and solid feeling, and it has the HAL joystick, so there's no Joy-Con drift or anything like that. I love this thing.
That looks super snazzy.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And when I don't have it in there and I have my Joy-Cons on, there's just like a little bit of give, and I don't know, it bothers me. I love the Pro Controller.
Yeah.
And I would love to see a newer, kind of more expensive version of that. Something a little bit more heavy duty and a little bit more premium feeling, but I love the Pro Controller.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm scared to play on my Joy-Cons because they get drift. Like, I get nervous.
I've swapped over so many. It's so arrogant. And the thing is, I bought my son a Switch. A bunch of his have like got drift, so I've had to like buy him new ones. I've bought my girlfriend a Switch, but I don't think hers have got any drift yet. But I've had at least 2 pairs that have gotten drift for sure. Definitely at least 2 pairs. So that they have.
Yeah, 2 pairs for me as well.
Man, that's ridiculous. That's something they have to address. The fact they got taken to court X amount of times for it, and they still... I was convinced they were just going to release better Joy-Cons, but nope, they just released the same Joy-Cons. It was so trash. Right. So randomly, I met the guy who created the Joy-Cons once in London. There was like a Switch event before the machine came out, and I met him and I took pictures of him and everything. Had I known what was about to happen, I would have told him in advance, sort your stuff out, mate. What is wrong with you? It's unbelievable.
That's hilarious. I love it.
Ioku says 1080 please. Yeah, I know people are obsessed with 4K. I'm not personally. Like, if it's 1080, more than happy. Even, I'll be honest, if the screen, like in portable mode, is still only 720 or even 900, more than happy. Like, I just don't think you notice it on a screen that small.
Yeah.
I'm not particularly fussed about 1080. 4K. I did predict that I think Nintendo games at least maybe will be 4K. Like their own first party, but that third party games, whatever, the next Call of Duty when it comes out, I imagine those would be 1080, maybe even 900, but I'm guessing even maybe 900 maybe, and maybe 60, maybe 30, I don't know. But I still think that's a massive, like, if we think Doom on Switch goes down to 540p on portable, it's anywhere from 720 to 540, and it's 30 frames, and on what do you call it, docked mode, it's still 30 frames, but it's 720. Even it still goes down a little bit. So if we go from that to like 960 for third party games like Call of Duty, that's like the bare minimum, but I would be okay with that. If it was like, if a Call of Duty comes out and it's 960, all right, I can live with that. I'd prefer if it was 1080 30, 1080 60. But I don't know. I imagine it might be lower. I think people might be putting their expectations a bit high. I don't know what you think, Cameron.
Yeah, as far as like assuming that this is another hybrid console, I think getting between 720 and 900 in handheld mode is more than fine. Like you said, it's a smaller screen. I have the Switch OLED.
Yeah.
I think it looks better than the Steam Deck, the regular Steam Deck.
Yeah.
And it's, Steam Deck's much more powerful, runs higher end games. Obviously, Steam Deck has an OLED now, but when you look at the price gap, it's, you know, there's a big difference right there.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah. No, I think Switch games look gorgeous on the OLED. So I think anything 720 to 900 is fine. I would like to see if, you know, it's using DLSS, if it's upscaling to 4K.
Oh,
I
yeah.
would like to see that in docked mode.
Yeah, for sure.
Or TV mode, just because it's another one of those things when we talk about third parties, you know, wanting to get those experiences and not feel like there is an apology pack with them.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, no, I agree. I saw Yoko wrote, here in Mexico, I just know 2 guys with a 4K TV. Yeah, no, like I think that's the other thing. I think you're right. I think with DLSS, yeah, I think it will at least look 4K and run whatever 60 maybe. So. Yeah, if that's the if the rumor of Breath of the Wild is anything to go by, where supposedly it was running 4K 60, granted that is a Switch game, but I imagine they're first party games for sure. I think that's, unless I don't know if you have any more predictions for it. I think that's all my predictions. I know there's something missing, and I don't think anyone knows what it is. I don't think anyone has any idea. But in the same way there's a Joy-Con and there's, you know, the HD rumble and there's the sensor, I think there's going to be something on it that everyday use, and I don't think anyone has any idea what it is, because I don't think it's been leaked. I don't think it's been even speculated on. In the same way, I don't think even the Joy-Cons were speculated on, were they, before they came out? I don't think that people knew about the sensor.
And you know, folks got to remember too, like with dev kits going out for Switch 2, Nintendo doesn't have to incorporate any gimmick with a dev kit.
Yeah.
It just needs to be something to design games and test games on. So if anything's not going to leak on the Switch, it's probably, or Switch 2, it's probably the gimmick. I hope there's a gimmick, and I know
I do.
I know for a lot of people, it makes things very hit and miss. You know, a lot of people got really over motion controls. A lot of people did not care for the Wii U. A lot of people hate the Joy-Cons. So it's not always a home run, but I think it's what makes Nintendo exciting and fun and special. I love when Nintendo surprises me. One of the reasons why I love the Zelda series so much, because it's so rare that we get a direct sequel. It's usually a brand new concept every time. It's one of the biggest disappointment about Tears of the Kingdom for me was that, and I was hyped. I was like screaming when that teaser came out. But the biggest disappointment for that was that, like, oh, we're getting a Zelda in the same art style. Yeah. Because I'm always, anytime a new one's about to come out, I'm like, what's the art style gonna look like? What's the art like? Yeah. I love the new and the different. So I want to see that classic Nintendo charm find its way into Switch 2.
Do you think they'll
bring back... Oh, go ahead.
No, sorry, go.
I was just gonna say real quick, I want them to bring back colored buttons and
music. Hell yes!
Music on the OS and wallpapers and all that weird quirky stuff.
Oh, see, now you've gone there. If there's one thing I want, is I want Miiverse back. Just give me my Miiverse. I just want Miiverse.
Absolutely.
Oh, that was so glorious. Like, I can't believe that's the one thing they didn't make it back from the Wii U. Like, that's one thing I wanted so bad.
When you think of like how cool Miiverse was and how popular the Switch was, can you imagine if Miiverse was created for the Switch, how big and how popular it would be, and how cool it is. Such a shame that some of those like Street Pass and Miiverse.
That's what I was gonna say. Imagine Street Pass on the Switch. Jesus Christ, that would be massive on the Switch right now if they had Street Pass. That would be insane. I know people now, still today, who take their 3DSs out and you know, just get, and at the end of the week and have a crazy list of people on Street Pass. People still use it. That would be incredible. Right, people. I think we're gonna do, before we end it up, I'll do the giveaway now. So anyone who's here for it, I'm gonna make sure. I know last time the Nightbot did draw the winner, but it didn't appear on the screen, so hopefully he's behaving himself now. So if you want to enter this giveaway, just type in, what should they type in, Cameron, for the giveaway?
Switch Flip.
Switch Flip. Type in Switch Flip. I'm gonna type it myself.
Nintendo Flip. Nintendo Flip.
Anyone who wants to go for the giveaway, which is Penny's Big Breakaway on the Switch, type in what I'm about to put in the chat now, which is Nintendo Flip. That's gonna catch on, yo. Nintendo Flip. Type that in the chat, and then we'll give it a couple of minutes, then I'll roll the giveaway, and I will message you guys. Well, I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna say straight afterwards, but it's gonna be in a few hours because for me it's 4:45 a.m. and I've got to be up at 7. I've got to be up at 7:30 a.m.
Stop it.
I'm serious.
Oh my god, dude, how do you do it?
Nah, it's fine. Hopefully, well, in my head I was thinking I'm supposed to have an easy day, but I bet when I get into work it's gonna be one of those days where it's
It's
full
the
on.
hardest day of the year so far.
Yeah, like it's funny because like I'm like where I work, I basically work in a TV station, and so I'm doing cameras tomorrow, and I have to wear basically like a steady cam type thing. And so like
I love it.
I can imagine with tomorrow we got like loads of shows to do, and I'm just wearing it all goddamn day. Like, oh my god, what have I done?
I love it.
So again, while everyone's typing Nintendo Flip, everyone who wants to go for the giveaway, you just need to type Nintendo Flip. Also, you need to make sure you subscribe to both of us. You can subscribe on me there. GameBird Classic, his cameras is in the description below. Make sure you follow me on Discord so I can send you your code afterwards. What's flipping, says Melvin, and the Nintendo is flipping, my good friend. Magoo's in the house. Welcome, Magoo. Yeah, Magoo's entering as well. So yeah, I'll give it another minute because I know lots of you. I know there's a delay on the chat, so lots of you just seeing it now. So we'll be doing that. Incidentally, whilst everyone's typing that in, I'll ask Cameron, what are you going to be streaming or uploading next, my friend? And currently, what are you playing?
Okay, so I'll start with what I'm playing. Man, I'm playing a few things right now.
Sorry, one second. Sorry again. There you go, people. There's Cameron's link in the chat. Make sure you click on that link and subscribe to his channel. His channel is amazing. Honestly, you guys are gonna love it. It's super high energy, always interesting takes. You know, amazing production value. Honestly, like you will be entertained. You'll be thought provoked. It's honestly like one of the best channels like out there. I saw his video, 10 seconds. I subscribed. No, I'm serious. I subscribed to you like 15 seconds after watching your video. So like, make sure you go check out his channel. You guys honestly won't regret it. He's also on Twitter. Same name. I think it's the same. You got the same handle on Twitter, right? GameBird Classic.
Yeah, I believe that my Twitter handle might be different, but you can go to my YouTube. My links will be in
It's
there.
all there. So make sure you hit that link there. Hola, Mago, ¿qué tal?
Well, thank you, man. Thank you for all the praise.
Oh, no, not at all, man.
I do like weird skits sometimes for my intros. Not always, because they do take a lot of planning. They're usually pretty weird, so don't be taken aback.
So
like,
good.
What the hell did I just click on?
I think that's why I appreciate it, because I used to do intros too, but like you said, like they take so much time. And so like I did one for Doom one time and Knockout City. I did like a few, and I'd go all out and edit the hell out of them. But to do that so often, you know, so like when I saw yours, I was like, man, like I know how long that must have taken. I know how much time it takes to sit down and re-edit. And so, you know, but
dude, and I went through so many ideas. It's so many unused ideas for that video. My wife, I had one shot in there. I was like, is this funny? She's like, that one you should probably cut because it's too creepy. so I was like, okay.
I'm gonna show you my Doom one day. I used to have it here, like on the OBS, but it was literally just me sitting down with myself and just like I had a Doom helmet, so I'd put the Doom helmet on and I shot my own face off. And I was like, that's probably a bit too dark, man. And a little splatters of blood just like pouring out every so often. I
love it.
Oh man, I should use that next time I stream Doom. I'll use it. Right, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna roll this giveaway before we go. Make sure, again, like I said, hit that like. Make sure you check out GameBird Classics Cameron's channel in the description below. As I said, thank you so much, Doctor Who, for posting the link on the chat as well. We appreciate that so much. Right, let me find this giveaway bot. Where are you, good sir? Oh, okay, so I can see everyone's names. Okay, so I'm going to read off everyone's name that's in for the giveaway at the moment. So if I don't read out your name, make sure to type Nintendo Flip. So at the moment, we've got Hot Gamer Boy Summer, Yoku Productions, Magoo, Melvin Cole Smith, Mirahane, Pat, Settle in Smash 30, and Steve Minecraft 46. If I haven't read your name, make sure you type something. To be honest, it can be anything just for it to register you, and I'm gonna roll it off in a second. Thank you so much again for like hanging out with us, for talking and listening all Nintendo. A massive thank you, of course, to Cameron for keeping me company and talking all Nintendo stuff. It's been a blast. I think we've got through quite a lot of that. We ended up going through a lot of stuff. So it's been super.
Sorry if I talk a lot.
No, dude, that's perfect.
On some of the topics too long.
No, absolutely perfect. That's exactly what I like. Exactly what I like. Right, I'm gonna roll this, and hopefully you should see it now. I think it is gonna work. Right, I've rolled it. Have you guys seen? I know who's won it. I'm gonna see if it's popped up. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. There you go, guys. So massive congratulations to Mirahane. I hope I said that right. Or Myra Jane. I'm reading like whenever I'm not sure how something's pronounced, I read it in Spanish. So it's like Mirahane, but I think it's just Myra Jane. Yeah, congratulations. Make sure you're on my Discord. Incidentally, you can also follow Cameron on his Discord, GameBird Classic. He's on Discord also. It's late. I was trying to find because I saw that you joined my Discord and I couldn't figure out any way to join your Discord, Cameron. I was like, oh my God, I spent like half a day just trying to join it.
I created one and I've never used it.
Oh,
so
okay.
folks, just be aware. I'm just getting in the groove of this stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm working on getting live streams going, getting a Discord going and all that stuff, but some of it's new. My core was just YouTube videos, just YouTube discussions with skits here and there, but I'm looking to branch out and stuff, so
that's good.
Expect Discord stuff coming.
Dude, I look forward to it.
Up and running yet.
I look forward. It's going to be awesome, man. I was going to say something. Now I forgot what I was going to say. I can't remember what there was. But I wanted to thank everyone for all the likes because we've got a bunch of likes as well today. So thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, everyone. That's what I was going to say. The next giveaway will be in under 2 weeks. I haven't decided what it's going to be yet, but it tends to be that usually around the 15th of each month, either the 15th or the end of the 1st. Well, I say both, the 1st and the 15th, around those dates. We usually do like a long stream on a Sunday, usually about a 3-4 hour stream, and we basically play multiplayer games. So, you know, but stuff that's like multi-platform, so everyone can join in, right? So like whatever, like it's, whether it's Fortnite or Rocket League or, you know, Fall Guys, whatever, all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna do one then, and usually we tend to give out a bunch of different prices. So usually vouchers will give away, and then usually a game code as well there. So there's usually 2 or 3 vouchers for the system of your choice, whether Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft, and a game. Usually it's kind of the game that's trending at that moment. So hopefully you see you guys there. I will be back tomorrow with another Nintendo Nightcap video. I think I'm either gonna have 1 or 2 videos. I'm working on my top 25 Switch games, which is gonna pee off a lot of people, I think. And I'm working on a video related to actually what we spoke about now, which is whether Nintendo should go all out with its innovations or maybe play a little safer and go high on the specs. So I'm doing a video on that at the moment and kind of looking at both sides. So one or both of those will be out tomorrow. And Cameron, where can all the good people find you, my good friend?
Find me on YouTube at GameBird Classic. I do, Nintendo content, Nintendo discussions. I do have a weekly podcast that I started that's usually every Fridays.
Awesome.
That podcast is more of a games industry, so there's still a little bit of an emphasis on Nintendo, but we'll also talk about Sony and Microsoft news as well on there. But I've got a few really cool videos planned for Nintendo discussions on the channel, so definitely check it out. If you like weird skits sometimes, expect those because they're coming. There's more in the works. And,
they're awesome.
Huge shout out. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
No, thank you.
I had a blast. So grateful. Thank you for all the praise. I really do appreciate
my pleasure, man. It's been super fun. Super fun.
Yeah. And everyone in the audience, I hope you guys had fun and enjoyed the discussions that we had. I hope I didn't upset too many people with Zelda.
We both did.
But
I'll just quickly say thanks, of course. I'd like to run through quickly. Mr. Pat, thank you so much. Settle in Smash 30. I think she said it was like My Jane, right? Myra Jane. Thank you and congratulations. I should get your code to you. Magu, thank you so much, Magu, for joining with us. Iyoku, thank you so much. Doctor Who, of course. Editor who joined earlier. Mr. Pat, I think I said. Aroto, welcome, Aroto. Good to see you, my good friend. Where is it? Where did I go? Melvin, thank you so much for spending time with us, Mr. Melvin. Hot Gamer Boy Summer, welcome. Thank you so much. Steve Minecraft, thank you so much for joining as well. Who else? The thing is, this doesn't let you scroll all the way to the top. It's so annoying. Dan Kamim, thank you so much for joining us, my good friend. If I've forgotten your name, I'm really sorry. I can't scroll all the way to the top. It doesn't let me. I might have got everyone. No, Templo Zeldero, thank you so much as well. Well, it's Menace. Thank you so much for joining us, Menace. Yeah, now it stopped. So everyone who I didn't mention, it's not my fault. The chat doesn't scroll up where I need it to. So thank you all, and I will see you all tomorrow night. So take care, everyone. Bye.